I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening, America. Welcome the world. Hello, I am David Sponheim. Welcome to the show, everyone. We are dealing with a lot of fun right now. Yeah, kind of riding high on the branding of Donald Trump as our president. People are seeing weird experiences with Bitcoin in the markets. We're wondering what to do with our own personal savings. Are they being eaten up? Are they growing? Are the 401ks safe? Because the 401ks have done a lot better than people expected this past year, so a lot of people are happy about that. But for the vast proportion of America, we're without any hope for any opportunity for young people, without any hope for freedom from the tyranny of unscrupulous bankers controlling our country. And we're all wondering about the future technological revolution and how it will create cyber robots that could affect all of our lives and our freedoms. So we have a lot of different agendas here that are not matched by the other two parties. And that's why we have a plan to create a third party. We really believe that a third party is necessary to stop the tyranny of the two-party system. And without it, we're not going to create key solutions to our economy's problems. The systemic flaws in our economy are still there. So we have some key solutions. We're going to bring on a more important emphasis on homes and improving homes with our homestead renewal plan. And we hope to create over 1 million jobs in America doing just that, converting homes that are renovated, ready to be renovated, to lots of people making $10 to $15 to $25 an hour. Okay, welcome. Thank you. I am going to bring on some of the basic components of our show, like our header, telling you that I'm David Sponheim. And you can always watch us at Welcome Tiananmen Square. I heard you were watching us the other day. Welcome. Thank you. We are definitely interested in giving you a daily show. So if you ever want to watch us at americasthirdparty.com, we are on for 9 hours. Straight up, and it's a flash-driven system running on the Battlecam network. All right. Somebody wants to know about Image Master. I was a company that I had at one time that sold advertising. That was a thing I closed down in 2010 and retired. I'm not worried about my hair or anything about the show at this point. I'm focusing on the problems that America is facing, and with a president that seems to flip on almost every issue. Said he was going to get right back to work after Christmas and has been seen golfing after Christmas. Millions of people are wondering why we were deceived by a president like Donald Trump who doesn't even understand the first thing about running a country. It's kind of a strange anomaly when the greediest people take over a country like ours, and Donald Trump is, by his own admission, one of the greediest people out there. We're going to give people $1 million, a million jobs. We're offering $10 to $25 an hour. That's not a lot of money. Seriously. When you're looking at the big picture, we need people working and taking pride in home ownership. So our concept of the homestead renewal plan really is based on taking old houses that are certainly ready to go. The bones are still good. There's lots of houses in Detroit that are built like amazing construction value. We have to pop off the walls and put in foam core over the lath and plaster in some areas, but bring in drywall and you've got a brand new house. So yeah, the job plan is pretty unique for America that we offer. It's also including a training to become solar panel installers. Anybody who wants to get a job making 20, 25 bucks an hour could become a solar panel installer. That's an important issue. Jobs are key because people need to elevate themselves out of the condition they're in. And we can't just give people money per se, although we want to do that too. We want to offer $400 per U.S. citizen per month if you want it. And that's to stimulate the economy, help the private sector, the service and retail sectors rebound, and also give people enough money for food, because a lot of people, like veterans, right now under Trump, have absolutely no money and they're sitting on the street right now begging. And I'm not telling, there's squatters everywhere. We've got a problem, and the Homestead Renewal Plan will turn this squatting activity into something of pride, where people can actually make money, and pretty soon the house they're squatting in is actually the house they're going to live in the rest of their life, and they'll take good care of it. We're trying to engender a sense of appreciation for things that seem to be lost in our culture. Now, we're going to need to create a lot of jobs to deal with the automation that's coming. These are solutions to people needing jobs, and the key is to supplant the jobs that are going to be disappearing. And they estimate 30% of our jobs are going to be disappearing by 2030 at the very minimum. Maybe as much as 80% of our jobs at the low end will be disappearing by 2030. So we have to gear up for this by creating more jobs. All right. All right, so there's a lot of people in here who just are completely sidetracked on things that just don't make any sense. And I have to ignore those statements. And if you see me muting in the chat room, it's because I'm trying to kind of gear the chat room toward politics, because a lot of you just don't have politics in your mind. You're in some superficial world where you're looking at my hair or something. All right. Well, the solar panel installation jobs are actually all set to go in some ways. The Army Corps of Engineers has the ability to create solar panels just like the ones I'm showing you behind me. They have that ability right now, but they're not utilizing that ability. They haven't ramped up the production cycle, and we could easily pump out solar panels at under $1 a watt. And that kind of engineering and development is something that should have been going on under Obama and wasn't. He threw $530 million into a company called Solyndra, which wasted a tremendous amount of money. That obviously didn't create solar panels. Solyndra pretty much lost contracts, and it's unfortunate. But here's the company that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is working with, and this is what they do. They roll these things out for the U.S. Army. So we can do this, and each panel could veritably be glued down with epoxy and riveted to the rooftop of your house to give you a 40-year roof on that side. And we can do it over the entire house. So consider your south side of your house to be a free roof job, courtesy of Uncle Sam, and we're going to take your roof and lease it. We'll put together a lease plan and lease your roof and take care of the solar panels for you, and you don't have to do anything but sit back and watch. because the solar panels will generate enough electricity to pay for themselves and save you energy at the same time. Isn't that a great idea? All right, thank you. These are just one of the many, many different ideas that I have. A free roof job? Yeah, there you go. Can't stop, won't stop. We didn't play that last night because I've got people monetizing it. And every time I put it on the show, we get an attack. Somebody tries to monetize it. So I have to keep fighting every time I put it on there. It's kind of a hassle. So I have to go back to YouTube and protest it. And Sarah's been doing it. So, all right. You got some roof jobs you're offering at your glory hole. I don't think that's relevant. Yeah. So at the backbone of this entire plan for technology is a sense of goal of peace. So we can focus, instead of war, kind of focus on our country's problems. As opposed to starting wars with North Korea like Donald Trump wants to do, we're going to be focusing on fixing our country. That's essentially what is not being done by the two parties. And that's why we come to the table with a much bigger and broader plan than the two parties. We've also got a series of things encapsulated in our book, Hybrid Capitalism, which talk about how we're going to stimulate the economy in this tough time. And one of the ideas is to end the Fed. That's right, end the Fed. And also get out of foreign wars. So those are concepts that work hand in hand because most of the wars we've been involved in have been actually caused by bankers. Okay, it's really cold in the U.S. It's down to 10 degrees on the East Coast. Windows in Canada and the U.S. are breaking and there's no end in sight. This is definitely global climate change, folks. And Donald Trump won't even admit it. So it's kind of bizarre that we're now dealing with the worst weather conditions ever in history. And a Trump completely oblivious to the weather warfare that's going on against our country and acting like the complete puppet that he is, endorsing the New World Order and the deep state. So here I am trying to stop the New World Order and the deep state, and Trump is a puppet for them and ignores the serious problem facing our country, which is chemicals are being dropped on our air, and they're using a process called weather modification to do it. Well, it leads to some pretty weird weather patterns like in the Northeast right now. There's no end in sight, folks. This is a serious storm. Look at this. Satellite photo of the Midwest and Northeast, U.S. locked in the grips of an Arctic blast. That's unbelievable. Look at that. It's like completely frozen. This is almost like the Arctic Circle. It's so severe in Canada that only those above the age of 24 have ever experienced something of this magnitude during the period between Christmas and New Year's. Air temperatures from Nunavut to Ontario have plunged well below zero and wind chill colder than minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. This is unprecedented. Not to mention massive they actually reported 70 inches of snow in Pennsylvania, 85 accumulated. 8-foot snowbanks are not uncommon now. This is pretty messed up. So we're going to have to just hang in there, grin and bear it. I can imagine how horrible it is for some of you right now. Well, this isn't just camera ranting. This is a building of a coalition. We're building a movement using modern technology, which has never before been done. I'm a trendsetter and literally one of the pioneers of the golden age of video chat. And you should appreciate the fact that I came to this with 30 years of broadcasting experience when I started this show. So you're not just looking at a show, you're looking at a very interesting combination of talent, thought, content, and a virtual way in which we deliver the show, which is interactive. It's unlike anything anywhere on the internet, in my opinion. I don't have a wig on right now. This is my hair. Thank you. Appreciate it. I am. I don't just bitch on YouTube. I bring in news clips. We bring in links, live video, you name it. Okay, we got a link here from Dark Engine. Chinese mall unveils a Trump dog statue to celebrate the Lunar New Year. So this is how Chinese people see Donald Trump. Oops, sorry. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting likeness, kind of like a stubborn, stupid bulldog. You probably know that dog is a delicacy in China, right? So this is a Trump dog, hashtag Trump dog statue. Wow, heavy duty. There you have it. Belligerent Trump dog. People look at the big dog sculpture resembling U.S. President Donald Trump outside a shopping mall in Taiwan, Shaanxi province, China. Okay, the big Lunar New Year coming. One shopping mall declared it the hashtag Trump dog in the year of the hashtag Trump dog. All right, well, good for them. I just am sorry we even have him as a president. When he stole 10 of my ideas or more of my ideas, some people are counting them. One person counted 17 of my ideas stolen. We got a couple different things. We got Donald Trump to pull financial support for the rebel troops in Syria. That was my idea. That was a good thing. We got Donald Trump to open up the Keystone Pipeline because it provides us a backbone of energy well into the future, working with Canada. But my idea was to allow to make sure environmental safeguards in place. Trump lost that part of the idea. He didn't have environmental safeguards in place. The third idea, obviously, ending the Paris Treaty, not signing that, not going with the cap and trade carbon legislation. That was my idea too, and I'm glad he followed that idea I had. And I'm very glad that he didn't sign the Iranian treaty or contract we have to continue giving money to the Iranian government, especially since they didn't deal with Section T of the treaty, which is extremely disturbing because that's all about how we are overseeing their creation of a nuclear weapon. And without doing that, Donald Trump was wise to follow my advice and not sign that as well. So he's followed in my footsteps in a lot of different ways by making decisions that he thinks are right for him. I think he's got to do a lot more to prosecute Hillary, to go after James Comey, to even to try to get some dirt on Robert Mueller, because frankly, that's his only defense at this point. And the fact that he isn't stepping up to that is disturbing me. I was very upset, like you were, that he didn't prosecute Hillary Clinton on the Benghazi and all the Haitian misdeeds that the Clinton Foundation have done. He hasn't opened up an investigation into Pizzagate, which I expected him to do, or somebody to do. He hasn't stopped chemtrails in the skies above us, which are going on daily, and we're all being smothered with endless sprays of chemicals. He hasn't done a lot of really proactive things that need to be done. So I'm kind of shocked that Donald Trump didn't follow my advice insofar as to take an offensive against these issues, because frankly, this is a two-party corruption issue, not a one-party corruption issue. I'm not targeting Republicans when I talk about the Trump problem with Russia. I'm targeting both parties. Our country has been complicit in doing backdoor deals with the Russians for some time. I mean, Mitch McConnell's taken funding from Russia. Podesta was involved with Russian funding. The whole thing goes deep. So we need an investigation, and I'm surprised Trump isn't even pushing for that right now. I really am. So it could be that Trump is just overwhelmed. That's why he's playing golf. That's why he spends a lot of time watching television. We saw a recent study that said he eats fast food all the time and watches TV a lot. So I'm thinking the guy just wanted to be president for namesake, not actually to fix the country's problems. So you can begin to understand why I'm a little bit pissed off as an American citizen, that we have an absolute idiot, a buffoon running our country right now. But Hillary would have been worse, and I agree with you people about that. I really do. Look, I would never push gun control on you. Never. I promise you that. It's not an issue we have to focus on. We have to focus on fixing the country's economy, creating opportunity for young people, and making sure old people are safe and have good medical care. And right now, I don't think that issue is being resolved. All right. I have no problem watching Shameless. I think it's a funny show. William Macy's in it. He's a brilliant guy. I like him as an actor. He's one of my favorite actors. Yeah, and the nice thing about William Macy is there's no scandal about him right now. There's no Kevin Spacey type scandal going on. So I think the show is outstanding. If you haven't seen Shameless, it's really funny. And this guy is just, he reinvented this character, Frank. It was just, he does it so well, you can't even tell he's acting. So I really respect that. And like you, I like to watch episodic TV. But I really don't have a lot of time for it. I spend about an hour a day doing it. But I understand Trump is watching for hours during the night. That's what people are saying. Yeah, I think regular TV with commercials is mind control. I agree. I've never seen 50 Shades of Grey. Never. I didn't read the book either. I'm not into that weird, kinky stuff. Yeah, that Rosie, that's enough to make any woman lesbian, just imagining that. Is that the thought you have in your mind? Donald Trump's like reaching over and kissing you, French kissing you like he did that woman? Wow. No, I'm looking good now. Thank you. Well, I'm going to watch Shameless from UK. I think it's a good show. I think Rosie's kind of exciting herself in the show. Yeah. It's unfortunate. She's been driven to lesbianism like so many women. When they meet guys, they're just dogs. They just get turned off, you know. Some of you men are responsible for creating lesbians. You should feel a little self-conscious about that. And then some of you gay guys are out there, all you can think about is homosexuality because you're probably eating soy. You probably fell for the soy pill and you're just eating all your meatless products made out of GMO soy. So your testicles are shriveling and you're turning into a homosexual. Hey, speaking of technology, food technology, introducing AgroFresh. AgroFresh offers unprecedented pre- and post-harvest expertise to measurably reduce fruit waste from the orchard to the consumer. Doesn't this look really good? Looks like a perfect thing for you. Doesn't that look great? Yeah. Problem is, ethyl block protects flowers and foliage, both internal and external sources of ethylene. They're spraying the plants with ethylene. Ethyl block, they call it. And your bananas are being sprayed by actually gassed with carbide. There's also a product called Smart Fresh. And all these technologies have been developed by big agribusiness to create what I call agricide. It's kind of like genocide, but I call it agricide because they're literally poisoning the planet and you at the same time and getting away with it. And you're not doing anything about it because you don't have any political power. Yeah, ethyl. Fill her up with ethyl. That's what they used to say in the old days. Well, I hope you enjoy experiencing agrofresh.com. But I really don't like products like that. I'd rather get organic, non-GMO products. Your latest track, really. Haunted.
When there is no more room in hell.
Okay. Thanks. Can't wait to check it out. Okay, we have a little guest off situation here. And what I do to combat this hatred that goes on in our show is we actually mute the people. You'll see me muting them because if I ban them, what happens is they are completely and utterly, yeah, I'll work on the top, you can work on the bottom, we're good. So Scissor Fight and I do this together. Thank you, Scissor Fight, you're awesome. Okay, and I got that one too. Okay, so what we're going to do is make sure that we allow guest chat in because these people are trying to hose down our show and shut it down. They're trying to stop me because they know my ideas are resonating among the American people. And that because of this nonstop effort to do a show like this, we are still successful despite their effort. It hasn't stopped us in 9 years. And they started, as soon as I started doing this, they started attacking me. Uh-oh, Erica Garner is clinging to life after suffering brain damage, everybody. This is a really sad day. Let's take a look here and see what's going on. Wow. Erica, mother of two. She had a massive heart attack just 5 days ago and has suffered some brain damage. The people around the world watch me on UHF, guest 672. I have hundreds of millions of people watching me right now simultaneously. The censorship in the United States has not affected the worldwide audience. Hello from El Toro. Hey guys, 68 people watching the show. Enjoy. Have some appetizers. Enjoy the good life down there. We don't get a lot of appetizers and happy hours where we are here. We're in Washington, where they're a lot tighter on their happy hours. I'm not doing anything for your birthday, but have a good one. Whoa. Okay, the daughter of police chokehold victim Eric Garner is near death, but still showing her fighting spirit after a massive heart attack nearly a week ago. Relatives and friends rushed to Woodhull Hospital to visit Eric Garner, who became an outspoken critic of police brutality after her father's death in 2013. The 27-year-old firebrand remained in grave condition on life support, though, and her mother, Esau Snipes, said, "They're clinging to a glimpse of hope that she'll be able to survive." Now, the women who are active against violence, and she's very active against violence, are pretty important to the movement against brutality in America. And it's a big growing movement against brutality. All those people kneeling down in all of the sporting events, people willing to take pay cuts and lost work and wages to stand up against brutality. It's a big, big thing. Thank you. I'm glad I'm here. Nope. We're not feeding people $1,200 a month. That's pretty early, but you know, it's not uncommon for people to have heart attacks at 27 now with the way food is so corrupted, trans-saturated fats, and our own president living on an immense amount of fast food. I was shocked to find that Trump is virtually spending tons of money, tons of his time eating fast food. Typical day, 2 hamburgers, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Cokes. We can show the Trans Michelle video, yes. I usually wait a little longer to do that. I don't want to overwhelm us. Again, you're not listening to the show. I am being seen by hundreds of millions of people who grow in audience because they talk about what I do. And what we're doing is to break the ground for a third party to stop the corruption in our country. So I don't think it's something I'm going to just ignore and stand around just ignoring a worldwide audience that loves me when I'm being censored in my own country. I think that's great. Yeah, typically 2 Big Macs, 2 filet of fish, a chocolate shake, and 12 Diet Cokes. Thanks, Rosie. You've been tracking Donald Trump's diet plan. Well, here comes an orange meltdown. Internet cheers as Obama beats Trump for the most admired man in America title. Well, let's be clear. It's still more popular than "it's all fake news." Well, let's be clear. Sounds a lot better than "it's all fake news and they're trying to stop me." Yeah, so a whining orange guy failed to beat the aging, graying Barack Obama. Now, as you know, Barack Obama is, 2 years younger than me? So, yeah. Yeah, he hasn't lost weight. Trump has picked up pounds. He's basically eating all the wrong foods, and he doesn't exercise. And he said he's a perpetual victim. That's right, Rosie. We have a lot in common, Rosie. We should talk. You should call me up on my phone, 707-YOUR-ATP. We can get Rosie O'Donnell on the show. That's 707-YOUR-ATP, YOUR-ATP, or URATP, whichever you want to call it. Trump tweets that cold East Coast could use a little bit of global warming. He's making a joke about it now. I mean, talk about not even understanding the nature of weather warfare and how our country's being altered with chemtrails.
President Trump just tweeted about the extreme cold slamming more than 17 million Americans tonight, but here's the breaking part. His tweet also mocked the science of climate change. The president writes, in the East, it could be the coldest New Year's Eve on record. Perhaps we could use a little bit of that good old global warming that our country, but not other countries, was going to pay trillions of dollars to protect against. Look, I mean, the president has called climate change a hoax before, but tonight he's making light of these extreme temperatures and making a nonsensical argument about it.
Yeah. You know, these people, these pundits for the mainstream media are afraid to talk about the word chemtrail. Not one of these people in this broadcast would mention the word chemtrail. I guarantee it. They're all afraid to be considered wacky. Yeah, whack jobs talk about chemtrails. No. The government made anybody into a whack job that asked any questions about anything. And now you people, a lot of you people are saying everything's fake news, so you don't talk about anything. And anyone who says anything is a whack job. You see, that's something that you have to understand. Our government's been training us to alienate people that talk about the truth. That's what they've been doing. Even the word conspiracy theory was invented by the CIA, and they built it into a movie. Yeah. I've never been afraid to field 9/11 questions. Back in 2008, I said that we had 9/11 questions. You can go back to my tapes and review them. Nope. It wasn't until about 2012 that I began calling it an inside job and a cover-up, because I'd spent enough of my time researching 4 years to determine that it was, in fact, a cover-up and an inside job. And I'm of that belief right now. And I was just at the questioning stage back in 2008. Frankly, when it happened, when 9/11 happened, Sarah and I had just come back from a 5-day run across the country. We were in New York City 5 days before the 9/11 attack occurred. We were driving through, and on our way home, we did 600 miles a day. I'm not kidding. And we basically woke up to the attack. And I turned to Sarah and I said, that's got to be the Mossad, Sarah. Those were the words I used in 2001, right after the attack occurred. I said, that has to be the work of the Mossad. They're the only ones that could have pulled off this corrugated attack on our trade centers. So if you think for a second that I was ever wavering on that, I was never wavering. I was a little hesitant to call it a cover-up and an inside job at that time, but I did say we have a huge questions about the 9/11 Commission report. I'm on record saying that. Thank you. And I have no record of Sandy Hook happening, KISS fan. When you look at all the redacted information that the state of Connecticut released 11 months after the event, there's no blood evidence in the school. Not a single bit of blood evidence in the school. Outside of the school, there's a couple drops next to what was supposed to be Adam Lance's car, which incidentally had the wrong license plate on it. So there's a lot of questions about Sandy Hook. That school was completely closed down 2 years prior to the event for what apparently is asbestos contamination. So the DSH or whoever did this staged, we're going to stage an event, a crisis acting event in Bridgeport that day. Instead, they went up north 25 miles to Newtown. And that's what happened. And then the entire event was never fully documented with no proof of the bodies of the children. In fact, we've got photographic proof that there were no bodies. There were small hefty bags. That's a fact. And there was no evacuation of that school. They have videotape of the entire surroundings of that school for 4 hours that the police revealed. But it also reveals that no one was evacuated from the school at all. So we have a lot of questions about Sandy Hook as well. The false flaggery is the elitists using the power of the media to test how stupid you are. That's what false flaggery is. They're just throwing this stuff out there because they've got total control over the media. And they certainly don't need you to believe anything because you don't even have any political power. You're just a basic bobblehead who's listening to the news every day going, oh yeah, it's terrible. Oh, I too was upset for the children. I felt the emotional loss for the death of these children. But then I found out there were no children dead. It's like, well, no proof of dead children. There's a serious problem. You go to the FBI record of how many murders occurred in 2012 in that state, in that city, and the FBI record shows 0 murders occurring. That's the truth. There is no evidence of anyone murdered at that school. All right, thank you. What just happened in Russia? Now things are getting very strange. Let's take a look at this. This is going to be in our lineup tonight, but I want to look at it nevertheless.
It just happened again, and now over Russia. The people over there are going crazy of what just happened. Just a few hours ago, we got the breaking news, 5 videos just in. Take a look at these.
Wow, same thing. There's another rocket, yes.
What is going on over Russia? Is this answer to what just happened over Los Angeles? The big spectacle that we just saw and broke the news is of Elon Musk. What's he up to? Now Russia is up to the same shenanigans, or is this something out of this world? I want your comment.
Okay, well, he's going to have a full video to talk about it tonight. But yeah, this is a very unique anomaly that is occurring now on both sides of the country or the planet. And we are getting no answers from SpaceX. Not even a good solid warning prior to it happening over Los Angeles. So yeah, I think it could be an extreme chemtrail. That was my theory, yeah. That was you're on the same line I'm thinking. It could have been a massive release of chemicals because they need these chemicals to retain the control over the weather that they're seeking. I'm definitely against what apparently is what I call weather warfare. And unfortunately, we haven't really had any leaders in our country talk about this. The recent fires in California and the evaporation of California, the massive drought, is to me an indication that they're conducting a massive amount of chemical dumps in the atmosphere. Now, we have photographic evidence of this right here. These are real photographs. These are not fake. And this is going on all across the country where they're dumping chemicals in our sky, but they're not talking about it. Welcome to the real world. Well, you better start realizing if you don't build a political party to stop this, they're never going to answer for their ways and what they're doing to you and your lungs. These particles are going to end up somehow, in some way, affecting the American people and all the world's people. So we've got a real serious problem on our hands. Thank you for offering to me a visit in El Toro. Appreciate it. Meow doesn't have any answers because he's basically behind the ball on this. He's not ahead of it. Well, I've never ruined myself yet, and you got banned from the show. I read a lot more than you realize. And these people have come in here and tried to denigrate our show, and so far everything I'm doing is working really well. Even when I do a blackface video, people go, how's this guy famous? Well, that's how he's famous. Prior to the blackface video in 2009, no one knew who. Hi there, Apple. What party are you? I'm a centrist party. Yeah. We're the centrist people. We formed the Centrist Alliance a long time ago. We're America's third party. Yeah. But we're definitely dealing with unbelievable, unparalleled corruption at the highest level. And they're not going to talk to you about what they're doing at the environment, nor are they going to talk to you about what happened at SpaceX. I guarantee Elon Musk will not comment about this. Yeah, he's going to be completely quiet, but he'll talk about other things, the dangers of AI. And I agree with Elon Musk on that one. We have about a 5 to 10% chance, 5 to 15% chance of surviving the weaponization of drones. Swarm drones are the newest thing that look very dangerous to humanity. Bitcoin is an implausible currency, according to Bloomberg. That's right. We've got a lot of people against Bitcoin. It's an implausible, it's not competitive as a payment system, so maybe its value is as money, but it makes terrible money. Can't exactly move it around and share it with other people. Is Bitcoin money or a payment system? Is it Mounds or Almond Joy? Great taste or less filling? If Bitcoin is good at both those jobs, then it's probably got a bright future. If it's good at neither of them, well, farewell Bitcoin. We hardly knew ye. So people are wondering if this is just a splash or a balloon that may burst. Oh, you stepped in between the between the different. That's cool. Okay, so Sarah's in. I'm going to pass the show on to her. As you know, we have an unbelievable audience now, and it's kind of shocking. And the good thing is Sarah doesn't believe we have a large audience. She actually thinks we just have, 100 viewers. So it's kind of nice. You get to meet an American woman who doesn't believe in all the hype that we're being seen by hundreds of millions of people. And that's totally okay. I don't mind.
Well, the great thing about it is if we are being seen by hundreds of millions of people, and I don't give in to the hype.
Yeah, exactly.
So I am myself, whether I'm being seen by 2 people or 2 million people or 20 million people.
And some people think I'm nuts if you think I have 100 million viewers. Well, I have more than 100 million viewers. We have 800 million viewers on nightly, which is amazing. Like 1 out of 7 people in the world watch our show. And if you think I'm nuts, you can think I'm nuts all you want, but I know we've seen enough evidence that this is true. Hello from Tiananmen Square, yeah. We're being seen there. People are watching us and wondering, well, when is this America's third party going to grow? Well, I must tell everybody that we have indeed been, that's right. We have indeed been censored for 8 or 9 years in our own country. Seriously messed up. Okay. Yeah, the executive order blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse and corruption. That's a good step in the right direction, but again, it's not targeting the incredible pedophile ring that's in Washington and Hollywood. It's just a random executive order. It doesn't show any real proof.
Sorry, Apples. We wrote a book called Hybrid Capitalism because we do believe in the capitalist system, yet we also believe that there is we believe in a baseline plus society where we have enough without taking from the rich. We have enough to provide a baseline for everyone. Hello, Greg Parker. Thank you.
I've got something I want to show you that came in the show. This is huge. A chatter just said, David, let me see if I can line it up here. David, my friend's smart meter just caught fire and then his whole house started. Wow. We have a person who just said that in our chat room. No kidding. Thank you for telling me. Guess 325. Okay, so I've heard that many of these fires that started in California started right there in the house. And Scissor Fight was the one who came up with this theory that it was a smart meter that actually did this, that ignited the fires in California at each individual house. You'll notice that the very few trees have been burning in between the... there's a death meter there. The very few trees burned in between some of the houses. If they used a microwave or something, it would explain why these cans didn't burn.
Thanks, Apples. Yeah, some people think we're kind of like libertarians, but I would say sometimes libertarians seem like they don't believe in government, and we do believe in government.
Yeah, we do. Look at the trees in between there, not even burned. That's strange. Forest fires looks more like smart meter fires. So why aren't arsonists, or rather arson investigations going on showing that this could very well have come from smart meters? I don't understand. Very little evidence coming out of our government.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, Sarah's going to take over the driving controls of our show, and I will take a little break and have a waffle.
Have a waffle.
Thank you for making waffles.
Put them in the bowl, like you said. The top one is a blueberry. The walnut ones are on the very bottom.
Oh, good.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Simply by eating only meat. Connor Legend believes that by eating only meat, your body will repair itself in a couple of weeks. Okay, you saw the bestcatpage.net, a new book called Stop Meowing and Go to Sleep. Go to sleep. But you know what? It's on a hilarious new take on the frustrations of losing sleep because of a feline friend. That's cute. Yeah. That's a cute book, I'm sure. You know, Amber, the nice thing about Amber, well, ironically, she sleeps. I sometimes, Amber makes me want to come back as a cat if I pass on. My cat Amber, thank you 648, because she like sleeps all day and sleeps all night. She's pretty quiet like me. I mean, she doesn't really do the whole meow thing, except sometimes in the morning. Very rarely. She'll wake me up sometimes. And, oh, that's cute. Thecooltext.com. And then but she's not really that, her meows are like, meep, 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 sometimes. And then she tries to chirp like a bird. I don't know what she does, but she does a clicking thing when she sees birds sometimes. Whatever that is, 747-797. Scissor fight, you're a wizard. Alright, anyway. Yes, we have a cat named Amber. We like her. She's in the other room. Alright, take care. I'll see you in a bit, Scissor fight. Hello, Candy Rain. Hi, all the you now people. You can say hi and I will try to answer your questions.
Look at this.
That is gorgeous.
Look at that. And that we put blueberries on top with organic maple syrup. I'm going to dig in. I love it. I'm going to try it.
I bet that you're going to be blown away. So
I can't
good.
wait. You already had one,
So,
right?
yeah, I had a whole one. It didn't have the blueberries inside. I know I forgot the whipped cream, but that's okay.
That's extra calories. This is incredible. They're so delicate.
Aren't they good?
Oh, they are. Good choice. Thank
Waffles with blueberries. David loves blueberries, so. Yummy. Yummy, yum. I know, you have the whipped cream. I guess I wish I could hand you a plate of waffles. You put on the whipped cream. You keep one for yourself, and then I hand you a plate of waffles, put on some whipped cream, and I bring it back for myself. Nom nom nom. Oh, did I have blueberries in it? No, you're not muted, 325. I'm just totally ignoring you. That's pretty funny. Burp. What? Wow, you're pretty rude. I think I don't want to talk to you. Bye. A woman who can cook is a real woman. Well, I can cook waffles. That's about it. All right. We're going to do... What is an island in the Pacific Ocean that was taken by the Japanese by the United States Marines near the end of World War II after a furious battle? I'm not really ignoring you. 3, whatever. Iwo Jima is correct. Good job. Burp. And 352. Yes, it was Iwo Jima. The battle has been immortalized by a famous photograph and a sculpture based on the photograph of a half-dozen Marines raising the flag of the United States on the summit on Iwo Jima. So that famous flag where all the Marines are raising an American flag, that was on Iwo Jima. I know, I'm talking and doing the quiz at the same time. Yes, I'm sure they did make a stamp out of that. Oh, the chores, yes. And there's one Navy corpsman. Yeah, I did hear that, Blue Medic. Nice. All right, who is an African-American clergyman and political leader of the 20th century? He was a leader in the civil rights movement, and he has energetically encouraged self-confidence in young people, especially blacks. And did you know he ran for president in 1984 and 1988? Yes, I do have David does have a flavor injector syringe that you inject food with flavor. Yes. Jesse Jackson. That is correct. 332. You are right. Good job. 522. Blue Medic, yes. 835. Jesse Jackson. All right, who was an outlaw of the 19th century? He and his brother Frank and their gang committed many daring robberies of banks and trains, especially in the 1870s. After a reward had been offered for his capture, one of his own gang shot him in the back and collected the money. Yes, it is indeed Jesse James. No, I've never been to a party with a lot of Marines. My brother's a Marine. Yep, JJ again. Jesse James is the subject of many folk legends and songs. Well, my brother is a was it once a Marine, always a Marine? Because he was a Marine. Now he's no longer a Marine. He went to Iraq. And then I also have another brother who was in the Army and served in Afghanistan. And my Marine brother was, anyway, he was there at when they invaded Baghdad. Good guess about Janis Joplin, but no. What was an action taken by the federal government in 1942 after the bombing of Pearl Harbor that brought the United States into World War II? Government officials feared that Americans of a certain descent living on the West Coast might cooperate in an invasion of the United States. Accordingly, more than 100,000 people were forced, yes, Perp is right, into Japanese internment camps. Good job, 822 and 8252, yes. The internment of Japanese Americans. Most lost their homes, businesses, and other property in the process. In the process. About 2/3 of those moved were United States citizens. Thank you, thank you. Many Japanese Americans, including a specially created Army battalion, distinguished themselves in combat in World War II. Thank you. Thank you. All right. What was the time that, what was the 1920s called in the United States? It was marked by the popularity of a certain type of music and by attacks on convention in many areas of American life.
Let me turn this on, this heater.
Okay.
Here's
They
water
had flappers, they had the Roaring Twenties. What was the type of music that was popular?
The jitterbug. That was more like the 30s. Okay.
Starting with the letter J. Jazz, yep. They called it the Jazz Age. I think I like older people. I like younger people too. Older people, younger people. Yeah, me too, Al Minerva. What was the descriptive term for the segregations of institution, businesses, hotels, restaurants, and the like? It also refers to the laws that required racial segregation. Correct. 3936 got it right. And Blue Medic got it right. And Owl Minerva and 457. It was Jim Crow. Yeah, pretty much. You guys are both good. Okay. What was the conservative, or what is the conservative organization? But it was prominent in the 1950s and 1960s. It was particularly concerned with the dangers of communism, and its views were considered extreme by most Americans. Correct. Owl of Minerva has that right. The John Birch Society. All right, before I continue with it, I just have to do some cleaning up. Oh, wait. All right. Sorry, I'm back. Oh, and this. I like Woodbey. It's probably grown a whole lot since you've been here, Blue Medic. But I agree, it's boring. There's not a whole lot here. Well, yes, I have one. David did just had a space heater in here in the office, and he just turned it on. And then I have another space heater in my bedroom. Who was elected vice president in 1864 and became president when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in 1865. He is one of two presidents to have been impeached. The House of Representatives charged him with illegally dismissing a government official. The Senate tried him, and he was acquitted by only one vote. Johnson is correct. Andrew Johnson. Isn't it interesting that, so we've had two famous presidents were assassinated, Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy, and both of them were succeeded by someone named Johnson. Abraham Lincoln was succeeded by Andrew Johnson, and JFK was succeeded by Lyndon Baines Johnson, who I was going to talk about next. The Democratic Party political leader of the 20th century, who was president from 1963 to 1969. Johnson rose to power in the Senate. He was elected vice president in 1960, running with John F. Kennedy, and became president after Kennedy was assassinated. Known for his extraordinary political skill, Johnson guided many of Kennedy's New Frontier projects through Congress, including the Voting Rights Act of 1965. He also started his own set of domestic programs known as the Great Society, which included the War on Poverty. In 1965, Johnson began a sharp increase in American military involvement in the Vietnam War, which took resources away from the Great Society and was opposed to many by his fellow Democrats. Greatly frustrated by his difficulties over the war in Vietnam, he declined to run for re-election in 1968. He was a Texan, and he often tried to project an image of a blustery, sometimes coarse rancher. I think Blue Medic is Navy, because he always talks about his time on Whidbey Island, NAS Whidbey, which is Naval Air Station Whidbey. Well, my bathrobe doesn't get used that much 348, but I sure do love my bathrobe. That's true. If I'm reincarnated, I want to be either an angel or a cat. I love my cat. I'm like, oh, you got the cat's life. You get fed and get to sit in people's laps and get pets and sleep. Watch TV when the humans turn it on. Otherwise sleep. I think I am a good-tempered person. Even-tempered. Many people say I'm even-tempered. I don't get frustrated too much. I do like to sleep, it's true. But I don't always do that. Do I ever shout? Only if I'm trying to prevent someone from doing something dangerous and I have to say, no! Stop that! Freeze! Don't move. Then I'm like, okay. So I'm going to come over slowly and take that away. A nag? No, I'm not a nag. I try not to be a nag. What's the point of nagging someone? Doesn't make a sense. All right. Good disposition. That's what's good to have. Who is a basketball player? First, he was a guard at the University of North Carolina, and then in the NBA, mainly with the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan is right. Good job. 332-221-457. Process Bird. Blue Medic. 822-348. No, not 8348. It's Michael Jordan, not Jackson. He was an extraordinary, skillful, and graceful shooter. Jordan is regarded as the best basketball player ever. Well, David thinks that instead of Michael Jordan being the best basketball player, which I think he is. I love this. There's some good quotes by Michael Jordan about, like, not about failure is what really leads to success. Anyway, David has somebody else that he likes as a basketball player. He said if he was scoring 3-pointers before there was the 3-point shot or something. All right. Who was an educator and author of the 20th century? Even though she was blind and deaf from an early age, she learned to read, write, and communicate with sign language. She's often mentioned as an example of persistence and courage in the face of overwhelming handicaps. Correct. 822-457-733. Yes. 723-126. Helen Keller is correct. Helen Keller. Good job, Blue Medic. The play The Miracle Worker dramatizes Helen Keller's early education. Who was the younger brother of John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy? He was a Democrat. He represented Massachusetts in the Senate since 1963. He was a leading liberal. He was mentioned over the years as a possible candidate for president, but was never nominated. Ted Kennedy is correct, and he was never nominated, probably because of Chappaquiddick. Teddy, the murderer Kennedy. The Chappaquiddick incident has affected many people's view of him. The next one was about John F. Kennedy, Democratic political leader of the 20th century, president from 1961 to 1963. His election began a period of great optimism in the United States. In his inaugural address, he challenged the nation, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." He brought the United States out of the Cuban Missile Crisis and negotiated the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty of 1963 with Britain and the Soviet Union. But he was also responsible for the disastrous attempt to invade Cuba at the Bay of Pigs. His domestic policies were called the New Frontier. He strongly supported space exploration and the Civil Rights Movement. His presidency ended with his assassination on November 22nd, 1963, apparently by Lee Harvey Oswald, who allegedly shot Kennedy as the president rode in an open car through Dallas. Kennedy's death was mourned throughout the country. At age 43, Kennedy was the youngest person to be elected president in American history. His administration was known for its dazzling, stylish quality, partly because of his elegant wife, Jacqueline "Jackie" Kennedy, and partly because Kennedy himself was young, handsome, and eloquent. Did Obama take a page out of the JFK playbook by saying, "Yes, we can"? I don't know. Marilyn Monroe, probably 252. All right. Oh, here, let me move this for you. And this. And this.
That can stay. All right, cool, thanks. Got it.
All right. Do you think Marilyn was pure as a driven snow?
Marilyn Monroe, really?
I don't know about that.
No, she had quite
Third
a sordid
owl.
background that was. I think a lot of people don't realize what some
What
of these
about
women
you?
went through to be famous. It's kind of sad. And with what's happening today with Harvey Weinstein, and I don't think there's been one criminal charge or civil charge against the guy. I think he's so powerful they're never going to be able to prosecute him. I think it's really a serious problem still, and our government isn't doing hardly anything to prevent it. It's
Yes, that's why. Yes, 709. You're spot on.
I saw it firsthand in Hollywood. What was going on in front of you was atrocious. It's like crime. It's a crime to misuse power against women.
I don't know how to teach I don't know how to teach people to be like me. Reasonable, good-natured. That's awesome. 723, very good. You served 2 tours in Iraq in 04 and now you're a school teacher. Very good. You know, I'm really liking Western Governors University, and I wish I knew about them when I was becoming a teacher, but that's okay.
Microwave is quieter than the old one.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't teach at a university. I'm going to school. I wish I did, but I don't have my master's yet. So once I get my master's degree, then I'll be qualified to teach at a university. You have a PhD? That's very good. Maybe I'll do that eventually. You have a PhD, but you can't get a job? What's your PhD in? What's your major? I don't know. I think I'll just continue to teach elementary. Oh, political philosophy. Yeah, sorry. That major, the only thing you could do is probably be, well, you could be a campaign manager. And you could be a teacher of political philosophy. I was going to say, or you could teach. You teach American government. So, but you can't find a job teaching. Yes, I want to know why. Or do I? I'm open to hearing what you say. So maybe that light bulb still works?
Yeah, the lights works. It was just reset.
You have a degree in history and in business. Isn't it mainly like, oh, you know, I got this like, it's feminist theory. Oh God, I'm sorry, Owl of Minerva. I got this thing about teaching. It was like a survey, and it was all about like how you teach. Do you teach like racial justice? And it was all like social justice and all this, and I'm like, no, my focus is not on that. I mean, one, I teach 3rd grade, but secondly, I mean, in a way, and then I was thinking about how, you know, we have African American History Month coming up in February, which is the month I was born, and is also President's Month. And I was thinking, well, should I do something for African American History Month? Should I teach about Martin Luther King Jr.? But most students get taught about Martin Luther King Jr. And then I was thinking, well, maybe I should like have the students do a biography about not just about Martin Luther King Jr., but then about African Americans who've made a difference in history. Like, it was pretty interesting reading this one book that I'm reading. You would like this, Alma Minerva. This is where I get all my trivia. Cultural literacy, what every American needs to know. And in here it talked about this one woman, like, I didn't know about her, because we're always taught about. Anyway, it was, who was it? Mary McLeod Bethune is really the woman who promoted the teaching of Black history in public schools to begin with. And in 1949, she founded the National Council of Negro Women. Like, should I have students, you know, third graders do biographies about that? And then so what I've decided, I mean, there is like a cool biography, I guess it is, or something. I guess it's a biography of Martin Luther King Jr., so I'll probably will read that with the kids later. But I think what I'll read is Ruby Bridges, which I learned anyway, which is, so I think that's what I'll do, is I'll just read them that book, Ruby Bridges, and then we'll read together the Martin Luther King book, King Jr. book. But I do feel like sometimes I feel like the emphasis on social justice, it's fine, but sometimes it just makes people feel bad because they're born a certain color and are born into a certain family. And so sad. Yeah, and oh, you can't get a job if you teach about dead white men. Seize the day. And you teach books written by dead white males. You know, there's like lots of good books by dead white men. Like there's the Plato, and I don't really like them, but I like the Jean Locke and different things, some philosophy books. Yes, you want me to keep going with trivia? I was going to come back and do more trivia later. Oh yes, you did send me an audio of John Locke. I remember. And the Republic. Yes. I know 782 people say that microwaves destroy nutrition, but you know what? You're eating pablum? What? Pablum. What's pablum? But you know, cooking food, any way you cook it, destroys nutritional value. So the best thing to do is just eat raw food, but then that's not good. Oh, you're an adjunct professor? What about teaching, like, couldn't you teach English, though? Everyone needs better English. You're not allowed to teach English because of your major? Maybe, Owl, you should get a teaching degree, like you should go and teach public school. You can teach dead white men in public school. He'd be overqualified in many ways, but public school's even worse. But they need people like us in public school. That's where I teach. Yes, inspire the kids in Detroit. You've taught Shakespeare, that's good. No, but people down the street built snowmen. There was enough snow for snowmen on Christmas. I just didn't want to get wet and cold. Nice. Jonathan Swift in France. Good. You have Iceman in the Midwest. Nice. Owl of Minerva. You taught in France, England, and in Germany. Nice. Very good. I would not date you, Blue Medic. I know you think you would date me, but it takes two to tango, and I would not date you. I will only date David. That's the only person I will ever date. I know, Ghost. It's okay, I forgive him. Well, I'm glad to hear that you have a girlfriend. I'm sure she likes you very much, and I'm glad to hear that. Wow. That's pretty cool. Owl. 96, 97. If only I went to Harvard. You're a fellow. Oh. Oh, nice. You're a teaching fellow. That's very cool. Nice. Nice job.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's happening in Russia too, these Iridium-4 rockets. I wonder what an Iridium-4 rocket is. I'll have to look this up.
I'm very much enjoying my Christmas break.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to go in the other room.
Okay. Sarah is not giving eye rolls. No.
I did not.
No. You know, I think people don't read your face very well. They're kind of a
third. I was that look. Well, mine was like, I think I want to go to sleep.
Yeah, she does.
It wasn't an eye roll. It was like, should I go to sleep?
You might want to. Those
third owl, third grade.
You know those
10-year-olds.
Third graders. Those waffles are incredible. So you might want to have you know, a break and relax.
It's the best grade to teach.
Yeah.
I show them like a sample, and they just rise to the occasion.
Yeah, they really. And this is the eras that they learn all kinds of new things, how to read and how to learn from reading
and how to cite their work.
Yeah, it's kind of an amazing year, third graders. I'm trying to look up Iridium. Thank you, Sarah. Have a break. Enjoy your break.
Have a waffle.
Well, have another waffle. Yeah, I'm gonna. I had one. Have another one.
Oh, wait.
Iridium-4. I wonder what that means. Rocket. What is this? Let's look it up.
Maybe I will have.
Be amazed. Spectacular Iridium-4 launch. Yeah. Okay. What is it? Doesn't say. No. It doesn't tell you what the Iridium-4 rocket is. Interesting. So what else is there? Launch Vandenberg. I'm trying to look this up online, and this thing is just baffling me how this could be put over our skies without us knowing what it is. It's the webcast. Okay. And this happened right over Russia just today.
Oh, it's below.
He's really Wile E. Coyote, yeah. I don't know what this is. It's kind of freaking me out. Okay, we're done with that. Talking about a Chinese mall unveiling the Trump dog statue. Very nice. This is a big thing. Yeah, apparently they're trying to embrace the idea of having an American president like Trump. Wow. That's never something that you'd ever say in this chat room. Don't ever speak about Jewish people that way. That's very despicable, the way you're treating Jewish people. I'm against moving the U.S. Embassy. Thank you for the question, Owl of Minerva. Yeah. I believe that the U.S. Embassy was perfectly fine. Now it's going to create a backlash from hostilities from the Palestinians. We're not making progress. We're regressing in the dialogue of peace. So the original concept was to have 77 satellites, which is where the name iridium came from, being the element with the atomic number 77. So were there 77 satellites deployed? Were there all kinds of drones? What were those? Why isn't the government telling us what's going on? Yeah. All they're talking about is the launch. Let me go 10 pages back and see what they have to say. Yeah, I can use that as a way to look at things. SpaceX right there, yeah. Yeah, it just goes deep. Apparently they loaded it. They stacked it with just launch descriptions. Yeah. The aging Iridium network waits for key satellite replacements. Wall Street Journal, 2016. Okay, what is the Iridium network? Yeah, okay. This is when they were going to set up the flight. Roughly 80% of Iridium Communications Inc. 1990s vintage satellites. Oh. Operating without in-orbit spares. Huh. So I have to join Wall Street Journal to read the whole story. Okay, we're done. I believe there is a secret space program. Yes, I do. So there's 77 launches slated. There's 10 launches with 7 satellites each. Rosie, you're doing your math. That's good. Can you count how many women in your life right now? 1 or 2? Remember the last one didn't like the fact you had 2. Yes, I had the one. Thank you. I'm flying in my imaginary Learjet. Dave, do you believe human beings have traveled to Mars? I, don't. No. There was a tremendous video done in Russia. A lot of fake stuff goes on in Russia, but this particular video was done back in the 50s, and it's worth looking at. It's bizarre. It's let's pretend we have landed on Mars. And I think I can play it for you. Secret landing on Mars? Let's take a look.
And an acceptable picture, which you're now about to see as we saw it.
We're getting a good picture here and can make a fair amount of detail. How is it with you? Fine here, Houston, Roger. Stand by to scan. Can you take your exam for motion from the sequence camera for scanning?
Okay, this is an actual landing of Mars that was filmed in 1957. Excuse me, 1962. Yeah. Let's listen in again.
Roger, standing by. Hey, isn't there a whole room there? Can you verify that your town? Roger, Houston, we saw that. Stand by for readings, Houston. Standing by, Jonathan. Then we'll show you what every all way. Temperature 4 градуса Цельсия. Wind speed 21 kilometers per hour from southwest. Скорость ветра 21 км в час. Atmosphere pressure 707.7 millibars. Атмосфера давления 7 millibars. It's good. It's good, Yuri. Stand by for landing, Yuri. Мы делаем, мы достигли. Hallelujah. We're here. My God, what is that? Something moving. Something moved there.
Okay. We've been faked many times in many different ways. So why do we just casually believe that they've got some sort of a 7 space satellite deployment in the Iridium sky? How do we know these aren't just particles of dangerous pollutants that they're spreading across the sky to poison us? Yeah, we don't know much, do we? We, the people, are brain dead, left in the dark. Our basic effort to raise awareness here has landed us no political movement and no knowledge of what's going on around us. We don't know anything. We don't know nothing. It's kind of like Schultz on Hogan's Heroes. I know nothing. I see nothing. I believe we may have sent unmanned vehicles out into outer space. My biggest problem, and you may think about this yourself, is how come we don't have any solid pictures of the Earth from afar? Let's take a look. Earth pics from space. Well, we go to the grid, looking up Earth pics from space. And I'm looking at the board, and we're screwed on the board. Look at this. Every one of these pictures is either a side angle from a satellite or the blue marble, artistic Earth that the NASA created in an art studio. Even this side one looks like a paste-up of the blue marble because the face is exactly like it. It's like it's put back there. It's pasted on there. So the more we look at more, we're still looking from side angles. That's blue marble, that's blue marble, that's blue marble. That's blue marble, that's blue marble, that's blue marble, that's blue marble. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a blue marble by the stow. There's no pictures of Earth from a distance. Look at that. That's from a World Book Encyclopedia. But yeah, seriously. Okay, so that raises the number one question. Well, if we've been out to outer space with unmanned vehicles, we've had incredible... No, I'm not a flat earther. That's ridiculous. The Earth is clearly round. You've got to understand, you people who believe that NASA isn't 100% accurate and may be lying to us, now believe that there's a flat Earth. You were led to believe that any moon hoax discussion leads to a flat Earth discussion. It doesn't. No. That is the ploy that the CIA created when they put together this project, which is a mind control project called Operation Shoot the Moon, which is to discredit the people who are discrediting the moon landing and all of the space satellites that have gone into space. So why don't we have a credible picture of the Earth from a distance? We even have paste-ups as ridiculous as this one. Oh yeah, sure, that's a good one. That's total blackness. All the space shots from the moon landing are in black in the background, yet they had high-level color photography. Now this is a mocked-up photograph of the blue marble sitting behind what appears to be some sort of a landing crew. Now this is all completely faked. And every single picture from the moon landing is ostensibly been faked. And that's a sad thing. It really is. It came as a shock to me when the deeper I looked, the more I realized our technology is capable of getting up into the upper atmosphere, and we can deploy satellites. And they can even poison the atmosphere with all kinds of weather warfare. But they cannot in any way convince me that we've been to the moon and back. And many people have looked at the moon rocks and said they're not credibly moon rocks. They're Earth rocks. So this is an artistic representation. So why haven't we taken a picture of the Earth from a distance? No answers. I know a lot about the TRB-3B. Yeah, it has a video cloaking capability, which is a technology that has yet to be revealed. Video cloaking capability, when you imagine it, you can take a photograph of a picture and then project it onto something in front of it, and that would appear invisible. It's that simple. There's other technologies that they're deploying, though, to make that happen. There's holographic projection technology, which is still very hush-hush. And some people believe that they may be implementing some sort of a holographic experiment with Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam is a government secret project that is developing holographic projection systems, so they'll be able to present anything in front of you and you'll believe it. And they've even got it down to making you believe that there's anything could be happening right before your eyes. You have dinosaurs attacking you. There's all kinds of things. Yeah. There was a very strong, like an amazing demonstration of this in Dubai. They had a presentation, and I'm going to show you a little of it right now. Pretty loud, yeah. But these are holographic images of animals. So real that you could barely imagine them. Yeah. Anyway, not to belabor the point. So we have a lot of things that we're capable of doing that we're not aware of. Let me show you a picture of the TR-3B, what we do know of the TR-3B. And this is an image that was sent to me from a Japanese person from Tokyo who said, check this out. I've never seen this on any other place on the internet. I copied it and then that was it. Excuse the grammatical error. See that right there? That's U.S. Air Force revealed. Okay, here's some other sightings of it. Over Bolivia in 2012. Yeah. Dave. Yeah, Mr. Right. What's going on, man? Do you think Bitcoin is a Trojan horse? Ooh, good theory. Yeah, it could be. There's other sightings of it over the Netherlands in 2013. Yeah, you're right. That's a good, interesting angle. This person's suggesting that Bitcoin is a Trojan horse sucking in US dollars and then going to just deflate rapidly. Very interesting. And no one really knows who created Bitcoins. And the technology is really kind of shady. There it is. Whoa. Ooh, and see that? That was a real photograph. And you're going to say, no, dude, that's photoshopped. Paris, France. 2013. American-made UFO, yeah. It's a flying wedge, and supposedly it carries 200 people, and it can deploy 200 paratroopers and can fly as high as 70,000 feet above the Earth. We're not sure if it's using some sort of a kinetic motor, ionic generator, tachyon generator. We're not sure how they're building this, but it looks pretty real. It could be Area 52. Beyond Area 51. The next step, the next level. Yeah, get a grip, John. Yeah, I don't like religion either, John. I agree. Yeah, digital manipulation screwed us, Ghost said. We can no longer discern real from unreal. Yes. Rosie said something important, folks. She said she encourages our audience to get STD checks for 2018 as your New Year's resolution so you don't spread STDs. If you're in Oklahoma, that's especially true. You might have syphilis. I'm going to block the video, so some of this is top secret, so I'm going to stand in front of it. You're not allowed to see any of this. Okay, are we done with this? Thank you. The video goes on and on. I could certainly play it for you. Here's a sighting in Wisconsin, 2014. So we've all seen unidentified flying objects. Is there anybody in here who's never seen a UFO? Press 1. You can also pipe in over at you now if you want. You've never seen a UFO? Really? Never seen a UFO, 752. 332's never seen a UFO. Okay. You have seen UFOs, yeah. Carpet Munchers never, Owl of Minerva, you've never seen a UFO? Really? I guess I'm kind of blessed that way. Yeah, I saw one with Sarah over the skies above Seattle. And we saw it with a couple standing next to us. And we were both like blown away by the fact that it was huge. But then we were even more blown away when it just zipped out of the sky and disappeared within a second. That was weird, like a massive blimp, bigger than any blimp ever made. It's kind of weird. It was like a cigar-shaped blimp hovering over Seattle. Yeah, so it was between where we live on an island north of Seattle and Seattle. So you're thinking that Bitcoin is a scam coming from the guy stealing and eating Y2K food? No, hey dude, I'm not materialistic. I hope you understand. I don't care about money. You do. The TR3B triangle is commonly seen. She will later. I was never abducted. No, but we saw this strange craft, and even she said she saw something weird. But my impression was it was the size of Safeco Stadium. She said it was just a large blimp. So there's a big difference of opinion there. But we're still on the same page with seeing it. I was lucky enough to see 50 unidentified flying objects over the skies of Orange County when I was 7 years old. I went home. I was kind of a kid who came home early, and I got up to the upstairs, and I looked out the window, and I was like, whoa. And I remember being just like it was yesterday, actually. I was like, what's going on? And I was looking at it, I was like staring at it. That looks like a UFO. And I knew what UFOs were at that time. And I don't eat crap. Get off your high horse. And I personally was shocked to find out that over 200 people in the same area that I lived, Orange County, saw the same sighting that I saw. Because I went through my life thinking that I was one of the few that saw it, but there were over 200 sightings in 1967, June, I believe it was, over the skies of California, Orange County. Now you guys have chemtrails to look at. But I could not explain it. It was in June or July in 67. But what is interesting is there were about 50 of these things, and they were all identical. They were flying in an array in perfect balance with each other. And what was strange, it wasn't like a group of birds flying in a vector pattern. It was essentially they were all moving all at the same time, completely in tandem. Yeah. So anyway, that was what I considered a UFO experience way back. Hey there, Candy Rain. You're not the BitCon, I know. Well, if you're not materialistic, a lot of you people are materialistic. I'm not telling you that's a bad thing. You may be like Donald Trump and really greedy. But I'm not materialistic, and I don't really have any concerns about the fact that I didn't buy Bitcoin. I didn't cash in on Bitcoin. I don't care about money. I really don't. I know I have enough money to last the rest of my life, so it's not a big deal. But for a lot of you, it is a big deal, and I get that. I'm not trying to demean you by saying you're greedy. Greed is normal, believe it or not. It's abnormal to be people like me. I honestly don't believe there's that many people like me. I talk to people and it's like, most people are kind of greedy, Dave. I get that. I'm not condemning you for it. But if you put a president in charge of a country of greedy people and he's really greedy, then you've got a national security risk. So that's the problem with Donald Trump. You put the wrong person in charge of a country that puts us in vulnerable areas with companies like Deutsche Bank and Russian lenders that control some of his finances. So that's a serious problem. So yeah, this stealth tech is pretty interesting. But I can tell you that Xbox 360s are only $110 now. And they are necessities if you want a game. I would not waste my money on an Xbox 4. Or a PlayStation 4, rather. An Xbox One or PlayStation 4. I would not waste my money on that. I got amazing results from 1 year of gaming on Twitch before they IP banned me over there. You have accounts with Deutsche Bank? Well, we know you're part of the Illuminati, Owl of Minerva. We figured that out, yeah. We know you're here. You don't have to hide. You can have a place at the table just to talk. Yeah. It is a necessity in this life to game. Yeah, are you kidding me? I just enjoyed... Well, they IP banned me because somebody said, "Are you gay?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm not." And I consider that sexual harassment. They immediately called me a homophobe and reported me to whatever. And then they banned us. And then we came back not knowing that their rule was you can't come back on a show that's been banned. And they IP banned us. Oh, definitely. Gaming is a necessity at this point in life. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't have purchased an Xbox 360 and buried it in my bunker if I wasn't planning on spending at least 20 or 30 years underground evading the coming radiation poisoning from North Korea. So yeah, Xbox 360 is your best bet, and the cheap games that you buy are very durable, and they're less memory intensive, so you can run on less energy. Most of my off-grid bunker facility is set up with an Xbox 360. Yes, the TR-3B is a U.S. UFO capable of interplanetary travel. I would not doubt that one bit. I'm dedicated to the Full Disclosure Project. As president, I will fully disclose anything we know about aliens or the existence of advanced U.S. or human aircraft. Yorba Linda? Why are you sending me over there? UFO for your information. Should you get it? No. I mean, you got it? Really? Now what? Well, you got to get a plan to boost your immune system. That's what I would recommend. Yeah. Boost your immune system. Start focusing on that. Others will tell you about the chemo plans and the radiation plans, but your number one challenge is to boost your immune system right now. Those things tear your immune system down. And there's some really interesting results on the power of wine. Oh, cool. UFO for your information. Bizarre creatures. Sorry, page you're looking for does not exist. Nobody can explain that page. Yep, there's nothing there, man. Yorba Linda, didn't get it. But I will find you that article on the power of the alcohol in wine. Let me see if it'll pull up. Hang on. Yeah, scientists discover how a common alcohol found in wine can kill tumors. Let me give you this link. Looks pretty interesting. Here it is. Now, I'm not prescribing medicine or telling you that I have no answers or secrets to anything, but it's worth looking at. I mean, if you're going to do chemo, you might as well do wine. Here it is. There you go. Wine is the best medicine. They call it the grape cure, dating back thousands of years. I knew people that were addicted to alcohol, and you know, amazingly enough, the ones that were on wine all theirs and didn't never hit the hard stuff have done the best. They haven't, their liver hasn't given out on them yet. Well, thank you for offering me a meal in a monastery in Greece. Yeah, my family line came from monasteries in Germany. I was reading my history the other night of my family, and apparently Eldberg Sponheim founded a monastery in the Rhineland of Germany that was pretty famous still to this day. Eldberg. I never met him. Guys, the Greys traveled 400 light years to breed with big-titted U.S. blondes. Wow, really? You have a fantasy there. Are you thinking of writing a story about that? That could be a hot script. Yeah. Doc, your uncle Fritz Sponheim was an SS officer? I don't believe that. No. Prove it to me. Because that's from a different line of Sponheims that were living in Germany. That's not my uncle. Somebody else's uncle. My line of Sponheims moved off out of Germany in 1100 AD. Nobody I'm related to is a Nazi. He's a splinter off from the original Sponheim line. That's not my family line. Yes, there was a Castle Sponheim in Germany. Would you like to see it? I would love to show you the Castle Sponheim. Yeah. Apparently it's still preserved, and people have a place there. It's a beautiful place in the neighborhood. A beautiful place for neighbors. Won't you be my neighbor? There's my castle. It's missing. I am missing my castle. That is very interesting. They removed my castle from the collection. Okay. Here it is. It's in backgrounds. I have a cathedral that's in the city of Sponheim that I want to show it to you. Yes, this would have been a nice castle if only I had had this castle. This is a much nicer castle. Yeah, that would be an ideal castle. If I were to have a castle, that'd be the perfect castle. Yeah, absolute perfection. Imagine that is my castle. Hi, Owl. Yeah, so Scissor Fight is here. Yes, he's our mod. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Carpet Muncher has a click. Earthrise. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's all black behind it. It's kind of strange. Yeah, that's the same one I showed you as a mock-up of the Earth from a distance. Yep. I don't look more Germanic, I look more Celtic. Das ist richtig, ja. Well, my mother was English of descent and Romanian. So, it's amazing. I think I picked up that Celtic look. So William Macy, who plays an Irishman, looks a lot like me. Yeah, this is the cloister Sponheim, in the town of Sponheim. That's a cloister Sponheim. That's actually in the town of Sponheim. Kind of a cool picture. And I'll show you inside the cloister Sponheim. I've never been there. I've just, you know, it's just an amazing interior here. And this is inside of there, in the town of Sponheim in Germany. Look at that. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You can't believe in the TR3 and deny it. You know, I'm not denying interplanetary travel. I'm not denying anything at this point. I still believe that we may be able to get unmanned vehicles outside of our Earth's atmosphere, beyond the ionosphere, beyond the Van Allen belts. Not the Van Halen belts, but the Van Allen belts. I can definitely see the possibility of interplanetary space travel even to this day. And I'm beginning to believe that there could be a possible wormhole potential where we could create a passageway to another time, much like they may be doing at the Hadron Collider. It's possible. Very interesting. All right, that's enough of my local. It's Byzantine architecture. That is correct. No, my family was actually German nobility, and if you research it, you'll see that. Dave, my father worked as a janitor at NASA for over 40 years, and he confirmed there has been an alien cover-up. Wow. Mr. Rogers. Well, hi there, everybody. Welcome to my neighborhood. Well, Ace Spade, this is the deal. I think that the eyewitness statement of your father that there's an alien cover-up really does blend with the theory that Werner von Braun carried information that was greater than we could ever have comprehended, and certain things have advanced in our technological area so fast that many people are a little suspicious that maybe we have been reverse engineering alien space equipment, even our tablets that we have in our hands. Some people believe that the technological development is far faster than humankind could even comprehend. So you might have a point there. Yeah, I'm just not. I'm not proving that they were German nobility. I can give you the Sponheim wiki, and you can go from there. Here it is, the Sponheim family wiki. They originated in Rhenish Franconia, and the castle Sponheim was originally a barrier, a defense against marauders and travelers through the Rhineland. And this was it was an isolated region that needed protection, and I can tell you that it's still under the control of a person related to the Sponheim family. So that's interesting to note. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about the castle, though. I'd rather, you saw it firsthand up close and just traveled to it and, maybe hung out. I understand there's a geocaching location there and a Pokemon hotspot. So if you want to go check it out, you can. Jeez. I can't believe You know, have you ever been to the Coral Castle in Coral Gables, Florida? I haven't.
I've spent the last 20 years researching Ed's Coral Castle in Homestead, Florida. After 20 years, I wrote the novel called Waiting for Agnes. It's inspired by the true story of Coral Castle. The mystery of Coral Castle begins when Ed was born in Riga, Latvia in 1887. Ed was sickly as a child, and his grandfather took this time to start training him as a stonemason. And when he was sick in his childhood, Ed never went out that much and played with other children.
Yeah. So people are saying, well, how could you possibly have never been there and you were there in this picture? Well, a lot of people are wondering, am I, in fact, this man? Ed was a lonely man, and I definitely think that he could have been a better stonemason if he hadn't had the ability to levitate. Well, this man, Joe Bullard, did a video about a guy who could levitate coral rocks. And if you haven't heard about the Coral Castle, research it. Hang on. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you haven't heard about it, Joe Bullard did an amazing job of researching this and found out that the guy who created it was a Latvian. And we'll let him tell you.
When he was 26 years old, he met a 16-year-old girl named Agnes Scuffs. And Ed had never dated that much, and he just fell madly in love with Agnes. She fell in love with him also. They were scheduled or engaged to be married in 1912. And Agnes never really gave him a good reason, but the night before the wedding, she just simply said, "Ed, I can't marry you." And she jilted him at the altar. In 1912, Ed Leeds-Scowlen was engaged to Agnes Scuff, his fiancée, in Latvia. She was 16 years old. He called her his Sweet 16. The night before the wedding, Agnes jilted Ed. Broken-hearted, he came to Florida to build Coral Castle. Today, we're going to explore the mysteries of Coral Castle. All of Ed's tools came from a junkyard, beginning with this bell here.
Okay, so this is a guy who went over to Coral Castle and did a really good job of showing what Ed had created back in the 30s. And I think that what Ed was doing was showing the same technology that the Egyptians used to levitate rock, because Ed would take coral rocks the size of a large like an 18-wheeler, and he'd literally lift them up behind a scrim that he'd constructed whenever somebody dropped them off for him. So big trucks would drop these coral rocks off, he would pay for them, and then he would lift them and put them on top of his Coral Castle. Anyways, it's one of the most strange, enigmatic constructions in the United States, if you ever go there. It's called The Mystery at Coral Castle. Anyway, to look at the Coral Castle, you have to actually go on and watch the show, but he's got amazing rocks, huge rocks like this, that are balanced perfectly. So they believe that Ed tapped into some sort of an Egyptian levitation capability. Some people think he simply used pulleys effectively, but the amount of weight that he carried, you couldn't even lift with a D15 tractor. You know, a lift of a John Deere couldn't even get this thing up. So, that being said, there are mysteries that just don't make any sense on this planet. So if we want to create a wormhole, and the Hadron Collider is working on something like that, breaking down the subatomic atom itself and looking at its components, identifying neutrinos, and harnessing energy at that level, and even creating antimatter, mankind has reached technologically into the dark, empty space of oblivion. And we are about ready to find out if anything's going to bite back. So we're at a brink point historically where anything can happen. So don't be surprised if they're not putting things in the skies and not telling us what they're doing. because I think a lot of times we're being left in the dark right now. All right. Hey, we got a few people over at YouNow. That's kind of cool. And we got a couple people at YouTube, but most people are over at Vaughn trying to get into the show. Okay, we're going to look at the beginning of our list here. We've got a simple set for tonight, no big deal. A big story about Bitcoin from Morgan Stanley came in last night from Futurism. And they're talking about where it's going, where cryptocurrency is going. A guy, a Morgan Stanley analyst, said Bitcoin may be worth zero, given that very few online retailers accept it. Bitcoin also can't be considered a true currency, the analyst said, because it doesn't have an interest rate. So this Business Insider reported that Fawcett, this man who works for Morgan Stanley, James Fawcett, had sent out a note to Morgan Stanley clients before Christmas suggesting that the cryptocurrency's true value could be zero. Now, of course, they're probably very worried that Bitcoin is going to take over the entire country. It's a financial sector, so they're probably warning their own clients, but there is some truth to what they're saying. So we've got a video we'll be playing later tonight on Bitcoin. How cryptocurrencies work.
Say there's a coin that's currently worth hundreds of US dollars, but it's not made of gold or platinum or any precious metal. In fact, it's not the kind of coin you can hold in your hand or stick in a piggy bank. It's a digital currency, which means it only exists electronically.
Yeah, so this is basically a tutorial we'll be giving you. So if you're wondering what Bitcoin is and what kind of a scam it could be. We should make a potato salad dish, to know. Yeah. You have 8 people for $2.50 with some mustard, potato, onions, garlic, and radish. Nice. Yeah, $2.50 for feeding 8 people. Yeah, I made good German potato salad. That sounds like the right ingredients. Garlic, onion, potato, radish. Good idea. Thanks, Dano. Yeah, well, many people believe that this could be like a Trojan horse where people are sucked in at $20,000 or $15,000 of Bitcoin and then thinking it's going to go up to $30,000, then it drops to nothing. Where's all that money go? It's going to go into somebody's pocket. So Bitcoin could be an elaborate Ponzi scheme. And we're still very, very cautious because technology has not been worked out properly. Most of the technology that we're using in our computers have backdoors and all kinds of vulnerabilities. And that's a sad fact when you look at the overall growth of companies like Microsoft and Google. They're able to build social programming at Google by having your computer accept another software digital signature and allow your password to be used. So you have to be vulnerable in order for them to grow. So they basically threw your privacy into the wind and said, screw your privacy. We're going to offer it to anybody who wants to connect to our network and create our little widget. And consequently, these people have basically created backdoors, and ultimately, dangerous companies could get you to accept them, like you accept Twitter with your Twitter password, and accepting that password gets you into other companies that may be unscrupulous and may eventually backdoor you and cause you some damage to your computer, or possibly use your computer as a drone and launch an attack, a cyber attack with your computer. So all these things are happening because our government never led on technology. It's always been 10 years behind. We're just sitting back watching NSA operate on the down low, and now they're getting all kinds of access to, like the Amazon company is going to create an entire rack of servers just for the NSA. Google already has. Google ostensibly was built off of the In-Q-Tel dollars that poured in from DARPA. So in other words, our government is using these social networks to mine data from you. And they don't care if there's backdoors all over the place. So how can you trust Bitcoin? Yeah, computers are already obsolete. That's right. privacy, anonymity, and individuality. The final battle begins. The 11th Hope, 2016. Let's see what that's. Thank you, Misanthropy. Okay. So, oh, that, no, yeah. I can't listen to that guy. He can talk incessantly, and it's like, no, sorry. He's an expert on cybersecurity. That's a great link, but I can't have him on the show. Sorry. He's just ad nauseum. Yeah. Well, look, you can go in any direction. Doesn't matter. We're all open to do whatever we want with our money. But old Irish Reb says Bitcoin was born to disable the control of the Federal Reserve. That's an interesting theory. There's some people believe that Bitcoin originated from the World Bank and that they're orchestrating this to essentially convert us to digital currency, as that being their primary goal. Could be. You never know. No one has taken ownership of Bitcoin. So it's some sort of a mysterious thing that was created out of thin air, which makes you wonder, how can people get away with that? It's not exactly. There's a lot of things that I woke up this morning talking to Sarah about how our government is ignoring investigations. There's countless people that need to be murders that have occurred recently that need to be investigated. 82 different people have been killed who are holistic doctors. They've been killed who, ironically, it seems like because they were against vaccines, somebody got rid of them. And the most likely culprit would be the Food and Drug Administration or the CDC. They're knocking down all kinds of holistic doctor businesses because they're attacking them for certain therapies they're offering people who have cancer. That's one area that they're working on them with. But getting back to the Bitcoin guru, this is the guy that allegedly was the guy who supposedly created the Bitcoin. And he denies having any knowledge of it. He refuses. I refuse to tell anybody anything about Bitcoin. But his whole thing may just be, maybe he's secretly making money on the side. I don't know. But he's the guy that supposedly created it. But he didn't. He says he didn't. Impeach Trump says the government doesn't care anymore. You should know this. They have their own agenda. I know this, but I'm trying to make us control the government by electing honest people to stop the corruption. You don't know this? You don't understand that that's the only way we're going to stop this? There's no other way. We need to investigate the murders of these holistic doctors. Quick trial, execution for the murderers. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah. So they say John Kerry profited off the nuclear deal with Iran and he's being investigated. Good. Because I really believe that that was an inside deal that not only put a feather in John Kerry's hat, but may have given him some money. You know who else they should look into is Ambassador Susan Rice, or former Ambassador Susan Rice. She had made large investments in Iranian holdings, banks. Yeah. And I happen to know for a fact that that's what was happening. It was in the news. So, yes, according to JP Morgan, the CEO, Jamie Dimon, the Bitcoin is a fraud that will eventually blow up. Right. Same thing he said, too. Yeah, so there's a lot of question about this digital currency and the technology behind it. Apparently, these computers that are being used to mine digital currency are working overtime
earlier
and
today that Bitcoin was a fraud. Yeah. Why is Bitcoin a fraud?
Yeah, so separate blockchain, which is a technology, from Bitcoin, the currency. And now there are multiple currencies, and so I'm talking about not Bitcoin per se, I'm talking about currencies. You know, the first, and the reason, and I'm not saying go short, because I know Jim Chanos was up there. You know, Bitcoin can tell $100,000 of Bitcoin before it goes down. So there's not a advice on what you do. My daughter bought some Bitcoin and it went up, and she thinks she's a genius now. But it's I did refer to it as like the tulip bulb crisis of the 1700s, whatever. But here's the reason: governments, the first thing they do is form a currency. They like to control the currency. They control it through a central bank. They also like to know who has it, where it is, where it's going. Okay, and you just saw China just is closing down the Bitcoin exchanges. And what all I ever said is that at Bitcoin, the bigger these things get, the more governments, right now, they look at it as a novelty. You know, they love in Washington, talk about, oh, this is technology, we love technology. Wait until someone gets hurt. Wait until it's used for illicit purposes, which it is somewhat used for illicit purposes. They close it down. And that's my point. So it's not, you can argue and I also said there's a good reason for it. If you're in Venezuela or Ecuador or North Korea, you're better off probably using Bitcoin than using their currency. That can't possibly be true in the United States, unless you're speculating. And that isn't a reason to say something has value, because other people are going to speculate. That's tulip. And that's what I was saying. So I don't think, and also, like I said, the other reason to close down is because it's used for illicit purposes. And so it's just not a real thing, and eventually it'll be the emperor without clothes.
Yes, and let's not forget that blockchain was hacked and Bitcoins disappeared, and it's happened before and it'll happen again. That's what I was saying, the vulnerability, backdoors to all the software, the wallets that are being used. How do we know they're not engineering backdoors through the digital currency itself? So I'm just very, very bearish on Bitcoin. All right, 1.8 million immigrants likely arrived in 2016, matching the highest level in U.S. history. So Donald Trump didn't really have an effect, did he? Wow, a new study shows that immigrants are still pouring into the country, and his policies, especially considering he never stopped the UN resettlement program that Obama had, he failed to do that. He actually signed a new executive order allowing immigrants into the country just about 3 weeks ago. Nobody talked about it. But number shows 53% increase to the low point in to low point in 2011. So numbers are up. Millions of immigrants are still coming into the country. All right, everybody, it's time for a break from all of this news and jargon and everything, and play a little fun music. So I'll play Mr. Right. Thanks. All right, so the Ocean Pipeline project we started in 2005, and we still believe it's possible to create desalinated water in California due to the drought is being so severe. If Donald Trump was a good president, he would be using cloud seeding in California right now instead of denying that we have a drought. So it's serious when you've got a president who denies his climate change as well as a drought, and then you'd have no clue. Donald Trump actually stole this idea and called it an ocean dome in one of his speeches, and then he now hasn't developed anything, and he doesn't even believe it's needed. So it's kind of ironic that he would steal an idea that was designed to save the people of California from the drought, and now he won't even talk about it, nor will he admit there's a drought. So we have a serious disconnect with Donald Trump. Yeah, I realize that cloud seeding equals chemtrails, but we're not seeing cloud seeding in California, are we, Dr. Meow? We're not seeing any answers as to why we're seeing all this chemtrail activity, which is evaporating California instead. Yeah, what's with the left hook compliments, Ace Spade? Ace Spade's traditionally been against the show. I hope you realize that, Scissor Fight. But we'll let him hang in there because he represents the Republicans. Roy Moore, you won? Oh, okay. Are you going to have a recount? You won? No. You have to get a recount, Roy. Maybe your wife's Jewish attorney should apply for a recount. Have you considered asking your wife's Jewish attorney? Yeah, maybe he can help. Well, actually, the Stonehenge in Chile is probably less mysterious than chemtrails. We know very little about chemtrails. All we know is that they've been doing it secretly against our wishes, without any peer-reviewed studies, and they're listening to a madman who calls himself a geoengineer. And I just don't believe the science is there. I think they're really off track. In fact, I think that they're raping Mother Nature, these people. There really is there's no discussion between chemtrail versus contrail. The obvious difference between a chemtrail is it dissipates rapidly behind the end of the jet as it's flying through the sky. And most jets have dampeners on their jet engines to prevent contrails. We do know, however, that there are chemtrails and there's nozzles and technologies built to deliver these things over your head. It wouldn't be a big stretch for me to show you pictures of the chemtrails and their differences between those and a contrail. Yeah. They're called contrails because they can con you into believing it's just water vapor. Right, there you go. That's right, it's a contrail if it's water vapor. I am not, no. Stop turning against everything we're doing. Okay, Ace Spade, then you won't have a problem here. Here's another example of, just so everyone's clear on this, contrails don't drip. Here's an example of a chemtrail that literally is dripping in the sky. It's so filled with chemicals. Yeah. You're wondering if there's any chemtrail pilots out there. Sure. Here's one with a chemtrail patch. Proud of his military record, flying and dropping chemtrails on your head. The military is told that they're preventing any kind of an EMP from attacking by creating a cluster of heavy metals. So they think they're doing good work by polluting the skies. Or they're told they're creating a solar shield through stratospheric injection to prevent the sun from baking in on the planet. And then Donald Trump likes to make a joke about the whole thing because he doesn't care. Yeah, that's what's happening. Geoengineering has been documented. I mean, here's an actual photograph of Point Reyes of all the chemicals dumped over the California coastline. And what they do is they dump these chemicals that evaporate the air and prevent lift also. And it ties up the water molecules so they just hover. They don't condense to create rain. And while they're hovering, they're moving over to Arizona and Nevada where they dissipate. The science behind creating a drought is very documented, very well documented. And there's even patents pending and on file with the U.S. Patent Office on weather modification. And yes, they've been cloud seeding since 1946. Hey, Ozarks. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I saw you in here. Yeah. Yes, cars were worse a long time ago. We have to be stupid to not regulate what planes do. Good point, Mr. Wright. Dr. Phil says he rescues people from addiction. Does he? But others say his show puts guests' health at risk. Yeah. I don't think he even has a doctor in a field that helps people psychologically. I think he's in physiology or something. But he had won Survivor, the reality TV test of grit. But Todd Herzog was so drunk when he appeared on the Dr. Phil show in 2013 that he had to be carried onto the set and lifted into a chair. Look at this. He won Survivor, but he was drunk. And one person said, "I've never talked to a guest who was closer to death," Philip McGraw declared. TV viewers, however, didn't see the setup for his shocking scene. Herzog, who was battling alcoholism, told Stats, the Boston Globe, that he was not intoxicated when he arrived in the LA studio. In his dressing room, he said he found a bottle of Smirnoff vodka. He drank all of it. Then someone handed him a Xanax, and he said, tell him it would calm his nerves. That's what happened to him. So he basically, Dr. Phil dosed this guy up to be a complete spectacle on stage after he won Survivor. Wow. Unreal. That's really unscrupulous. I was called by Dr. Phil's show when I was a young man. About probably, I'm going to say more like 10 years ago. Younger man. Because I'm 57 now, but Dr. Phil contacted me, actually someone from his office. And it was somebody in my family wanted to confront me and get me on Dr. Phil. It was weird. I got this call, and I was on vacation at the time, and it was, hi, this is Elizabeth from Dr. Phil's office. Hi, we'd want to talk to you about, appointment we could get to talk to you. I said, I don't have a Dr. Phil. Oh, Dr. Phil, Dr. Phil, the TV show host. It's like, what? And I said, no, I would refuse, and I would never go on that show to be exploited. I thought it's terrible the way they exploit people. They want to solve your entire problem in 7 minutes on screen in front of the world. That would take years to deal with. Mr. Wright's here, yes. Well, I could go on it now if he invited me, but he won't invite me. I'm being censored in America. They won't allow me on any TV show or any newspaper article written about me, nothing. We've tried. We've been completely rejected. But I'm currently being projected on a 4K HD 96-inch projector on your basement wall, so thank you. That's pretty cool, 4K. That must be a DLP projection screen, Pooh. Those are nice. Right, I'm going to need to mock my potential opponents now before I'll dress up as Elizabeth Warren in Cherokee Native American garb and refuse to take a DNA test. Entertainer Rose Marie has died, everybody, at 94 years old. Rose Marie, actress and showbiz legend, dies at 94. There she is. Wow. I remember Rose Marie, best known for playing Sally Rogers in the Dick Van Dyke Show in the 60s.
If Mr. Q knows about my lack of affection, how come his arrows have such a lousy sense of direction?
Her career spanned 9 decades. Wow.
Nothing else to change it so, more than a smiling face.
How would I like to be remembered? As a good performer, a professional performer, who had a great sense of humor.
Good. Wow, she was a tough broad, I'm telling you. She was one of the strongest ladies that we've ever had in film. Yeah, she's up there. Laura, Bogey and Bacall and yeah, Rose Marie. All right. Dave, how come the soldiers in that picture you cite as proof were wearing U.S. Army uniforms instead of the U.S. Air Force? Well, the U.S. Army's involved in the chemtrails as well. You didn't know? Yeah. The entire U.S. military, they're not allowed to talk about it. They signed confidentiality agreements that would put them in Leavenworth if they shared their information. They're not allowed to discuss their work with chemtrails. I'm so sorry. Jeez. Why don't you ask some serious questions instead of these mindless debunking questions? Jeez. How come chemtrails look like contrails? They don't. They linger in the sky and they pollute. Introducing the DF-17, China's newly tested ballistic missile armed with a hypersonic glide vehicle. We're going to see some dangerous technology here. Oh, yeah. Oh, I heard this thing can haul. The DF-17. They're saying Mach 10 possibilities. Wow. The first test took place on November 1st. The second test took place on November 15th. Yeah. They began flight after separating from their ballistic missile boosters, which follow a standard ballistic trajectory to give the payload vehicle sufficient altitude. Parts of the U.S. intelligence community assess the DF-17 as a medium-range system with a range capability between 1,800 and 2,500 kilometers. It's expected to be delivering a nuclear and conventional payload and may be capable of being configured to deliver a maneuverable re-entry vehicle. No kidding. These things have been proposed as far back as World War II, hypersonic glide vehicles and missiles flying non-ballistic trajectories. But technological advances are only now making these systems practical. Yeah, I'm a little concerned, actually. The capability of some of these weapons that China is developing are amazing. You know, we're kind of behind in the space race because we've had an inept agency called NASA conduct a bargain basement liquidation of all of their facilities to companies like SpaceX and Virgin Galactic. I mean, they gave lots of money to Virgin Galactic and even paid for seats on his flight into the ionosphere, but he's not delivering. Richard Branson. So many people are thinking that might be a we're on a crash course with destiny here, allowing NASA to fall apart and putting our faith in people that, you know, like to smoke crack, like Elon Musk. He admitted to being a crack user to stay awake on Twitter. So here you are on your flight to destiny. These guys are taking a really nice, sweet picture, you know, heading straight into another plane. That's pretty funny. Okay, yeah, I have a video clip of a Mach 10 hypersonic capability that China is putting out. I want to show that to you. It's worth looking at. Might as well. You can't really, you know, not look at something that's powerful as Mach 10, right? Yes. Confirmed, China conducts test of new hypersonic missile.
And so in China, the Defense Ministry reiterated that its hypersonic missile test was aimed at scientific research and not targeted at any country. In a faxed response to the press, the ministry said that the test was conducted over Chinese territory. Earlier, a U.S. website reported that the hypersonic missile was detected last week flying at 10 times the speed of sound, that is about 12,000 kilometers an hour. A spokesperson for the U.S. Defense Department told the newspaper that it was aware of this test. The website Free Beacon said the test made China the second country after the United States to have successfully tested a hypersonic delivery vehicle which is able to carry nuclear warheads at a speed above Mach 10.
You like her, huh? She's a very beautiful Asian woman, yes. So, there you have it. We're lagging behind because the fastest we can go is Mach 6. So, you tell me who's going to win the space race. I think America's being run by imbeciles like Donald Trump, who aren't even prepared to create a brand new fighting force. Donald Trump is thinking old school. He reinstated the contract with Lockheed on the F-35, which has proven to be a complete failure in almost every area.
And here's how it works.
And it ultimately put us in a very vulnerable position where we're going to be dogging with an old machine, a bucket full of rust, while other countries are blazing ahead with brand new technologies. South Korea is developing a drone capability to guard against incoming ballistic missiles from North Korea. This became evident last week. We featured this story. They're going to build an entire selection of drones that could defend against any incomings. And here is the story. I'm going to give you a link to it. To counter a nuclear armed North, they've got the same kind of idea I had of creating drone missile defense systems. And I think that's a good thing. But this looks pretty interesting. One Army official claims the drone combat could be a game changer in warfare. And South Korea is moving rapidly in this direction with the new threat from North Korea. So this could be a very big part of their nexus of defense around Seoul, and I'm looking forward to seeing more progress in this area. And we could certainly work with our country to help, advance this defense technology. I think the future is in defense technology, although when you see China blazing ahead with hypersonic missiles at Mach 10, you begin to wonder, huh? David, when you become president, will you go to war with the FBI the way Trump has, or will you make nice? Right now, I'm in an adversarial state with the FBI because they haven't called me back. They never returned my call. I want to open up a dialogue with the FBI, of course, but I haven't heard from them. So unless we talk, we're going to be kind of on a stilted position. Of course, I'd choose a person like Ray. I think he's doing a good job. I would certainly not want to in any way compromise the FBI, but I think they've got a lot of work to do to clean their act up. They're not investigating enough tragedies. Look at Chris Cornell's death. It's clearly murder, and they're seeing it as a suicide. Look at the recent death up in Toronto. People are wondering who killed these billionaire generic medicine producers worth over $3 billion. This husband and wife were just killed. They hung inside their swimming pool off some poles. Okay, in January, you're going to be taking out North Korea, using weather as a tactical advantage. Interesting. Okay. Well, you may know, maybe you're in the know, Whirlwind. I don't know. Wow. Here's an expose about nursing homes. You prepare for a phone call your mother has passed. You don't prepare a phone call that your mother has been raped. Wow. Okay. Does it get any weirder than this? I don't know. Yeah. This is a story that most people don't want to even deal with. Yeah, women and people being abused in nursing homes. Some of the victims can't speak. They rely on walkers and wheelchairs to leave their beds. They have been robbed of their memories. They come to a nursing home to be cared for. Instead, they are sexually assaulted. Wow. Yes, let me play you, let me get you to the story. Before I get to that, let me get to the story about the generic billionaires. Generic medicine is being attacked by Big Pharma, as you know. And two top level billionaires who've made money on generic medicine, providing you with a low-cost solution from Canada, are now dead. Yeah, Health Nut News featured the story about the couple. Erin Elizabeth has a great site. She covers a lot of this stuff. Now the 82nd doctor and wife, 82nd holistic doctor has been killed. No investigation by the FBI. Just like in the case of Seth Rich, no investigation into his death. Clearly it looks like the Awan brothers were involved in that, but no talk, no evidence that's being discussed. But here's a link to that story. So they are looking into it in Canada. Homicide detectives have now taken over the investigation of the deaths of two pharmaceutical billionaires that police have deemed suspicious. The police source previously, here's the link for you guys at YouNow. Police source previously told the CBC News that someone outside the Sherman family discovered the bodies, but police remained tight-lipped about the investigation. Okay. There were no signs of forced entry to the home. They were going to put their $6 million house up for sale. Oh, man. You're eating pumpkin pie with whipped cream? Cool. Yeah, we made some great waffles. Sarah made some fantastic waffles tonight. It's amazing. Okay, so they deemed suspicious. Yeah. They're not really saying it's a murder-suicide yet, but it doesn't seem like they're really concerned. Dr. Barry Sherman and Dr. of MIT, he was constantly battling Big Pharma, this guy. He was constantly battling, he was a big enemy of Big Pharma, and we know that all the people who are against vaccinations, forced vaccinations, are being killed too. But for the FBI not to invest all these deaths of Bernard Sherman, Barry and his wife Honey, arrived and answered a 9/11 call. Their bodies were hanging side by side next to their pool. And they're investigating the deaths as a murder-suicide. This is a typical thing that they always label murder-suicide. Nobody strings themselves up next to their pool with their wife. I mean, the whole thing's ridiculous. You're right. Ace Spade made a good point. It's sending a message that anybody who goes against Big Pharma is going to get killed. It's very scary. Dow Jones, gold, 1295. Platinum, 925. Silver, 1682. So gold and silver are going up a little bit. The Dow Jones is going up a little bit too, to 24,837. I am listening. He reversed laws. He's a lobbyist. Let me see what you're saying. Millions. He sued the people that build his house. Oh, he sued his builders? Really? No kidding. They were atheists? Okay. I'm reading what you're saying. Okay, I'm listening now. Thank you. I didn't know that. I didn't know they were in a lawsuit over their house. Thanks for sharing. Okay, the Las Vegas drones are going to be out, and I don't mean the cops. Actual drones. They're going to be patrolling the event of the Las Vegas New Year's Eve, where people get on the street and start having sex. That's what people are saying. There's some people that are going to be doing flash mob activity. So the whole thing needs to be covered. And I understand that these types of drones will monitor. As long as they're not weaponized, I'm fine with people being monitored, I suppose. But I don't like the idea of weaponized drones anywhere in the U.S. They're going to use 2 drones to monitor crowds and identify suspicious packages and track any unusual activity on the Strip. That's kind of good. Preventing any terrorist activity. How come they weren't out there in Mandalay Bay? And how come we have no photographs from these drones during the attack that left us with a scant amount of evidence in Clark County coroners not being able to answer any questions from 7 news agencies? Oh, okay. Mum's the word on that, but they're more than willing to talk about their drones. I haven't worked on an organic farm. I've been in good close contact with, thanks Scissor Fight for that Bitcoin. I've been in close contact with some organic farmers in my area. Yeah, we know a lot about organic farmers. I used to be an organic food rep. Hey, look at that. It migrated up a little bit. So it dropped down and went back up again. So Bitcoin is on the rise again. Okay. Kind of expected a new growth cycle. We'll see where that goes. Thanks for that. Not that I care. Yeah, the government put the mob hit Sammy the Bull in the witness protection program. Now they're using him to kill the doctors, soon to be press release. You think Sammy the Bull is doing this this attack against some people working under cover of that radio? Yeah. Okay, so Sammy the Bull, if he appears in your neighborhood, he's a pretty dangerous guy. Okay. So we have Radio 1010 has got a pretty good angle here. It says that Sammy the Bull may be out and about doing hits on people like doctors and holistic people. So if you see Sammy in your area, he should be in lockup, but he could be in the witness protection program and doing some dirty deeds done dirt cheap for the U.S. government. I don't know. I wish I could answer. That's why I'm saying I would like to get some accountability from our FBI. Why was James Comey dropping the case against Hillary when it's full of all kinds of evidence of wrongdoing in the emails? Why did he just drop it and then completely ignore the possibility that there's a malfeasance here by the Clintons? So yeah, I would definitely like to see some accountability regarding that. And I think Ray should fess up about why James Comey has turned down the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails, which should still be ongoing, shows a gross lack of concern by the FBI. Jerry Brown is going to pardon criminal aliens to prevent deportation. Oh, what a nice guy to help all these criminal aliens, you know? Isn't he a great communist dictator? Gee, look at this guy. He said to all the Mexican people that they should come up illegally and enter California. What an idiot. California Governor Jerry Brown celebrated a sanctuary state Christmas by pardoning 2 convicted criminal aliens to prevent their deportation next week by the Trump administration. He's granted 132 pardons and commuted 19 prison sentences for illegal aliens. What a guy. You know, illegal aliens' best friend, Jerry Brown. Can't believe I voted for that guy. 1992, he ran for president in the primary. I was a Democrat. I had no idea these people were drifting into communist, Marxist communism. Okay, Martin Shkreli, a big pharma antagonist who's getting hit hard by a couple of racketeering charges that struck pretty hard. Yeah, he's now inmate number 87850-053. Martin Shkreli is once bragged that he would go to a club fed instead of a real jail. Now he's inmate at a Brooklyn federal jail, which is about as real as it gets. It's a tough place, says Robert Kipnis, a white-collar criminal defense attorney at the New York firm Lowenstein Sandler. Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center is a federal jail with a population of nearly 2,000. Shkreli will likely reside here until his sentencing on January 16th. He's a former pharmaceutical executive who was convicted in August of 2 counts of fraud and 1 count of conspiracy for misleading investors in hedge funds he ran. A judge revoked his $5 million bail on Wednesday for comments he made about Hillary Clinton on social media that the judge deemed a real danger. Yeah, he actually was in social media, and he was urging people to get a sampling of her hair or something, from what I heard. It was horrible. And I couldn't believe that he would do such a thing. Yeah. And Whirlwind has this link. They're going after his lawyer, too. His ex-lawyer is convicted of fraud. There he is. A lawyer who was once advising the former drug company executive Martin Shkreli was convicted on Wednesday of helping Mr. Shkreli defraud a pharmaceutical company. So the question really is, are the big pharma companies using their muscle to attack people like Shkreli? Because that's what he claims. He claims that it went after him because he was coming up with a solution for a childhood illness, and that they didn't want that because they wanted kids to be sick. I could ask anybody to upgrade my graphics. What's wrong with my graphics? My Ocean Pipeline? You don't like it? Oh, okay. You don't want an idea who's never ever had this time of day? Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you 4 questions about the film you've just seen.
And those 4 questions will be coming up the next 10 minutes. So be sure you have your number 2 pencil available. Otherwise, you'll fail the quiz. No, it was not me. It was a person who duplicated me. Humans called him Max Headroom.
4 questions. They're not difficult, but being able to count to 4 helps.
I'm not him. I'm better than he is. Yeah, I'm a refined version. He is a rudimentary in simplistic 2D graphics. I am 3-dimensional and more than capable of answering questions in real time. Okay, so we'll get rid of the Ocean Pipeline since nobody has any questions. How we're going to passively desalinate seawater and make lots and lots of fresh water so no one has to dry up like a prune in California. Okay, thank you. And it was not Trump's idea, it was mine. Thank you very much. Well, Vegas is someplace you avoid. Yeah, you could lose a lot of money in Vegas, man. No question about it. Well, let's be clear. I cannot believe that Guest Chat's been off all this time. Let's give you guys a chance to come in here just for a few minutes to see if you're capable. We need to put a blimp on the water treatment plant, Dave? I don't know. We've got a bunch of people in my area building a water treatment plant it's like they don't even know what they're doing. They're just adding buildings on, figuring it out as they go. It's kind of pathetic. $130 million project which will never pay for itself. That's the local government we've got here in Washington. Spend, spend, spend. No regard for reality. I know. I felt like you were being violated. I felt for you. I felt for you. 3-car crash caught on video during a SpaceX rocket launch. Starts at 35 seconds. Okay. You're going to see something very strange right now. People watching a rocket launch and then crashing. Talk about SpaceX not telling people about this. Look at this. Starting in just a few seconds, you're going to see a crash. Here it is. They're all looking at it. They're all staring at it. Okay. We're all looking at the rocket. Yeah. Everybody's looking. 3-car crash coming up. 26, 27, 24. Big, something's happening. Boom, boom. Look at that. Compressed trunk area. Yeah. Right there. You saw it almost live.
Can you please pay attention? Somebody's I'm not paying attention. I'm paying attention. No, but the thing is, it broke. Whoa. It broke. Ah! Oh, shit.
Whoa.
Shit, this guy is not paying attention, man.
No, they weren't. And who could pay attention when we're being dumped on? And now Russia had a similar incident. An Iridium 4 rocket is being deployed in Russia. Could we get some information from our leaders, please? Take me to your leader. Okay. Yeah. The Navy has chicks, really? I didn't know that. I mostly met men in the Navy here. But there are some women out there, yeah. Yeah. Most of the wives of the Navy personnel are, you know, lonely women syndrome in my area. You can see it in their face. Their husbands are deployed. It's a pretty tough life, I'll tell you. These people have to put up with a lot. Help me, help me. Martin Shkreli, welcome to the show. You came into the show. I'm assuming you're accessing the internet from inside the Brooklyn jail. Poor Martin. Apparently they didn't offer you a deal. They funded you $5 million bail and they took it away because you were doing something crazy online, which sucked. Yeah, you don't talk about Hillary that way. That's, you know, she's like toxic in that respect. Martin Shkreli here somehow got online at the Brooklyn County Jail. Yeah, I'm not big on Hillary because I think she needs to be investigated. I think there's a lot of dead people around the Hillary story, too. There's 122 dead people now. Martin Shkreli. Smartphone in the federal jail? Wow, Martin. Well, just stay quiet. Don't argue with people. That's your best bet. And don't feel like you're superior to everybody. They'll think you're, you know, you're going to make them your bitch. Where you can avoid that by not looking or making eye contact with anyone. I feel for you, man. It wouldn't be good to be in that situation. Big Pharma wanted to get rid of you, yeah. That's why they put you in jail. They're afraid of you and afraid of other people who are challenging their big hold over the American industry that we are all paying into. If you're hooked on Big Pharma, which I'm not. I'm more interested in legalizing pot, Martin, than Big Pharma. Extreme cold warning for southern Ontario. A period of very cold wind chills is expected. They're minus 35 in many areas. And that's Celsius. Holy moly, that's huge. Okay, warning, warning. Warning, warning. There will be big wind chills in Ontario. Hey, it's 10 degrees on the East Coast right now, folks. If you're warming yourself by your monitor, don't expect to get too hot. Your monitor will not make you warmer. The fact is, I'm not here to worship Anunnaki, Whirlwind. But I can tell you that these ideas are common sense. We haven't fixed any part of our environment, yet the elitists want us to somehow embrace technology without solving environmental problems. And they want to use cybernetics and the ability of creating robots, and the control over our police force is coming from robocops. They want to use that power against us. Instead of solving the world's problems with technology, they want to use it against humankind. That's what's happening. And it's just a question of when and how fast. Because if we can't build a political movement to stop them, and they censor us, we're going to be mowed over by these technological creatures. They have 1,000 times more power than human beings. The newest technologies are amazing. They're using hydraulic fluids to create strength in these robots, giving them 1,000 times more power than human beings. I mean, truly super beings will be created. And that will mean no one will be able to stop them once they're created and weaponized. And without any democratic control over our own government, let alone the future of the human race, we're screwed. Because these rich people, they don't need us anymore. They don't need humans to create any of their widgets or do any agriculture. They can have robots do that. Because money is the power that they use, the elixir. Anyone who needs money will work for them. But if we throw the money issue out of the window, they have no power. It's true. That's true, impeach Trump. It's 54 where you are, but you're freezing. You had to put on a long sleeve shirt. Yeah. Can you imagine minus 40 degrees? You're at 54 degrees in California. We're the only political movement against bionuclear democide. America's third party is building this core of centrist ideology, trying to solve problems that are not being solved by the two parties. We're your best shot, in my opinion. We're not siding with big corporate interests. We never will. We have bylaws, we'll set up bylaws to stop the payback that people have, you know, the pay as you go, actually pay for play, they call it. Imagine pay for play could be used by the Democrats. Like the Clinton Foundation oftentimes took cash to do side deals with government officials. We won't allow that. UFO sightings, here you go. Okay, let's take a look at that link. Thanks for posting it. I'm trying to solve problems. I'm not the savior of the 21st century. I'm just a person who recognizes that little is being done to solve the world's problems. Instead, they want to blame it on population growth. That does not exist. I'm sorry, that page does not pop up. The UFO sighting page. Yeah, Sammy Gravano. Guy looks pretty tough. Yeah, if he's being used to attack people, that'd be a pretty weird, seriously messed up reality. Okay, there's a satanic temple in Massachusetts, in Salem, Mass. No kidding. So they set up in Salem, Massachusetts. That's pathetic. You know, they're giving the old witches of the Salem witch trial a bad name, you know. Man, their key doctrine. Inviolability of the body is a key doctrine. They have restrictions on abortion. Okay. They don't believe in a supernatural Satan. They're using literary Satan as a metaphor. Okay. Boy, it sounds like a pretty messed up group of people. Yeah. Founded in 2013 in Salem, Massachusetts. I guess it takes all kinds, right? Google it. Sammy the Bull. Yeah, if he's out, you know, he could pose a danger for sure. They took over Detroit when the property values decreased. Yeah, they're taking over parts of Detroit. I understand there's like 70,000 Satanists living in Detroit now. I know. It is kind of crazy. All right, we covered the deaths of the two doctors or the two billionaires who ran pharmaceutical business, generic pharmaceutical business in Toronto. and the sick and dying people who are in nursing homes that are being raped. Yep. Unbelievable. I met a woman who was 92 years old in a nursing home in my area that had a bruise on her face. I was visiting someone else at a nursing home. And closed captioning is not working on UHF. Okay, I can't understand why, but thank you. Thanks for sharing. I met a 92-year-old woman, and it was so sad. Incredibly sad. I couldn't believe it. I said, "Are you okay? What's wrong with did you get hurt?" And she said, "They hit me! They hit me!" And I'm going, "Oh my God, I gotta get..." So I went down and talked to the social worker. She totally blew me off. I said, "We should file a report." I was really, it's just like, what are you gonna do? She's not my grandma. I reported it to the social worker. Surveillance video shows 3 individuals breaking into a sporting goods store in Tennessee and smashing display cases and making off with 31 firearms. Wow, let's take a look. Here they are, smashing, breaking, and their faces are on there too. Look at that. Oh yeah, who's that guy? They want those guns, man. Look at that. Yeah, they like guns. It's like shopping at the store without any money. They're willing to take a prison rap without even covering their faces. Unbelievable. Desperation, man. They're probably going to sell them on the open market, make some quick cash, the black market. Yeah. You never know who's going to be breaking into a gun shop. I was in a bank robbery in the 90s in Los Angeles. And I was in line with a friend of a friend, the girlfriend of a friend of mine. And she was getting some banking done at a Bank of America. And boom, the doors blast open. Just boom. And then a bunch of guys run in. They were 17 or younger, black guys with bandanas, all carrying brand new 9mm handguns. They were brand new. And they all said, "Give me a 50s and 100s." And they went right up the cash register. And I started getting freaked out. And we had to put our hands up, of course. I was freaking out. But the lady I was with, was so freaked out she was peeing in her pants. She literally peed right in her pants. I have done Mr. Right earlier, yes. I didn't say anything about it to her when we went back home. I just ignored the whole thing. But yeah, it's pretty serious. As the time went on, it was like close to 5 minutes of them breaking in, going to get the stuff in their bags full of money. About 5 guys came in. About 5 minutes later, I started to get a little worried because I was a tall blonde guy. You know, I'm the first guy they're going to say, "Yeah, let's get rid of this guy." No, it's not. They don't give me a copyright strike on Mr. Right. It's Can't Stop that they give me a copyright strike. It's just a monetization strike, not a copyright strike. But it's just somebody attacking my show whenever we play Can't Stop. So we'll play that after the recorded broadcast in an hour. But I stuck around. I was surprised. The police rolled right in the door as soon as they jammed out of there. Like within 30 seconds of them leaving, the police rolled in the door. And the cops didn't want to interview any of us, you know. And they said that it happens all the time. That every day in every major city, there's like up to 10 robberies that we don't hear about. That's why banks struggle to keep, you know, their rates high. They are constantly dealing with this thing. Good night, Whirlwind. You have to call a lady friend? Okay, you do that. Enjoy. Thanks for coming in, man. Thanks for the links. Yeah, fancy. It's cold where you are. Yeah, I know. We're facing the warmer weather right now. We're getting a warm spell now. We had 32 about a week ago, but you guys are down to 10 degrees on the East Coast. Yeah, I'm not Mr. Left. Let's talk about the turd gravy, okay? Yeah, that's another story at the nursing home. I was visiting that person I was telling you. I went in there and I was sitting there at the it was lunchtime or dinner time, and this person said, "I don't like the gravy. It smells weird." And I said, "Well, okay." And she said, "No, it smells really weird." I said, "Okay." So I actually put my finger on the edge of the gravy and brought it to my nose. That was a friend of a friend. And I brought it to my nose and I was like, it smelled like crap. Yeah. I'm not serious. And I told that to the social worker and she didn't give a shit. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have used that word. She didn't give a crap about the crap that it was in the gravy boat. So I looked it up, and it turns out it's a practice used in nursing homes to put people in kidney dialysis. I've said it before, don't worry. But they said instead of chicken gravy, they put crap, diarrhea in their chicken gravy boat. So then you get kidney issues and die from kidney disease if you eat that. I'm not trying to ignore Soviet spy. Hang on. Okay. No, he seems to be right on target. No, nothing to ignore. Just a lot of anger. Yep, diarrhea in the kitchen gravy. I reported it to the social worker, and she completely ignored it. She didn't believe it. I reported it to the director of the hospital or the nursing home. He didn't believe it. I even have a sample of it still to this day in a freezer. I'd love to find out if it really is diarrhea. I'm not going to report the name of the nursing home. No. Just suffice to say I will say that last year they were shut down. Or 2 years ago they were shut down. And they were reopened, and I happened to be in there during the reopening stage. I will say that. Well, I don't think if you sprayed the chicken gravy boat that was actually supposed to be turkey gravy that smelled like crap, I don't think that would help. Fruit enzyme's not going to help. I think Sarah fell asleep. She carbo loaded on these waffles today. We made waffles in the kitchen at 5, which we will upload the recorded broadcast later tonight on my David Sponheim site. If you want to see some really low cost recipes, I've got them all over the place. Some people have actually done their wedding with my recipes. They said they fed 150 people for $50. It was amazing. Anyway, you can check them out. I'll have tonight's Belgian waffle show uploaded. One person called up, Jason called up and said it was the best show ever, and he's going to upload it to his, once he copies it, he's going to upload it to his site. Yeah. So you can get a lot of recipes there on my Dave's Kitchen low-cost recipes. I want to hear the findings on the gravy crap too, but I can't do it. I've got the sample. It's in storage. I just, I don't know what to do with it. It's locked up, hermetically sealed. I'm not going to play a 5-minute video. You want me to wake her up? Get her in here? Well, it'd be terrible if I did that, don't you think? She needs her rest. She had a rough day. Yeah, we had to take her hybrid down and have it repaired only so far as it's a common problem. Her check engine light popped on. And it's a common problem. If you don't have your gas cap tight on your car in America, you can get a check engine light. So your first order of business is to check your gas cap. It turns out her gas cap was, the one she bought the car was an aftermarket gas cap. It didn't fit right. It was letting air in and the evaporator sensor was going off. So they were kind enough at the dealer to just say, hey, that's cool. You could unplug the light, but that doesn't help. You can't get into your dashboard and unplug your check engine light. All right. She was a nice old lady. But Sarah and I were, hanging out, enjoying the day at a really nice dealership. And they gave her an oil change, and they sold her a gas cap. Guess how much the gas cap, the authentic Honda gas cap costs? Can you guess that number? Authentic Honda gas cap. Close. $45. $45. So the aftermarket one was probably like $15 or something, but it didn't work. And when she got the car, it didn't have a tight enough seal on it. So she got a brand new gas cap, and I kept her her used one in case I ever have a problem with the gas cap on mine. Yeah, $45, and then we had a $29 oil change, and she's back on the road, looking good. Yeah, I'm glad that we don't have to deal with him anymore. Thank you, Scissor Fight, because he was a real problem in our show. I couldn't believe how he insulted me. And after all the time I gave him on this show, I can't understand how a person can be that way. But the only explanation is he's paid to troll us. That's the only explanation. A microwave and a waffle maker, what made me do that? Well, we needed both. And she bought me something even better. She told me she bought me an expensive item, and I found out she bought me a surveillance system that we're going to be hooking up. Another one. My audio is fading. Testing 1 2. Yes, you're right, it is. Wow, hold on. Testing. Wow. One, two, three. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. No sound. It works now. Sound okay? That was weird. Working now. Yeah, I raised the values on it, but perfect. Okay. Hi, DT Laura. Yeah, that's weird. I didn't do anything to create that. Well, no, my system is analog. I mean, I could talk right here into the mic and it would be... Let me record my broadcast real quick. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing. Testing. Let me bring it in and play it. That's weird. It just happened all of a sudden for no reason. Yeah, I'm going to play it for myself right now and see what I said. That's not it. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing. Testing. Yeah. It sounds okay now. That's really weird. It's almost like my the mixer board is kind of burning out or something. But your volume is lower than before for sure. Okay. Let me raise all my values here. It's strange. Maybe it's the old mixer board is finally hitting the dust. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Okay. I hope it's better. That's kind of strange. I could go to another mic or something. Daddy. Daddy, sound is good? Okay, good. Daddy, daddy, daddy. Let's bring it on the... Yeah, South Korea is building swarming drones. We talked about that. You got that linked on what happened in Russia. Same kind of iridium blast occurred in Russia recently. Bronx fire, city's deadliest decades, kills at least 12 people, folks, in the middle of the dead of cold. There it is. The dead of winter. The Bronx fire is happening. 12 dead, including a baby. Oh, man. Fire fueled by gusty winds tore through a century-old apartment building in the Bronx on a frigid Thursday night. It was the deadliest fire in New York City in more than a quarter century. Well, I don't know. Back in the 90s, I remember that fire at the nightclub. No. That's such an incorrect statement. There was a nightclub fire in New York that killed 100. Maybe that was Connecticut. I would believe that was white. Anyway. Mayor Bill de Blasio said at a news conference that 4 people were critically injured and 2 people sustained non-life-threatening injuries. But the youngest among the dead was a 1-year-old and the oldest over 50. Worst fire tragedy in at least a quarter century, the mayor said. Unspeakable. The families have been torn apart. The blaze grew to 5-alarm status. More than 160 firefighters responded. The cause of the fire was not yet clear. It was a bitterly cold night with temperatures in the teens, and the wind chill made it feel below zero. Wow, that's sad. That's not cool. The Great White Concert in Connecticut, yeah. That was 103 people died there. It's time for Sponheim. Thank you, man. That Station nightclub in 2003, that's correct. Boy, you're good. Yeah, we have evidence of the Station nightclub fire in 2003 in West Warwick, Rhode Island, killing 100 people and injuring 230. So it wasn't Connecticut. It was West Warwick, Rhode Island. Thank you. That was a horrible one, yeah. But I remember there was one in New York, a nightclub fire that happened in the 90s. But it doesn't matter. People just died. It doesn't matter whether it was the worst or not. I don't have I don't have a persistent pain of Topano. No. No, but thank you for asking me. That's nice. I have a swimmer's ear. When I swim every day, I swim freestyle, so my ear is always dipping into the water, and I get a little water in my ear. Yeah, there's no persistent pain at all. It's just a little bit of water in my ear. Okay, North Korea. Trump accused of China of allowing oil transfers. Oh, yeah. Oil transfers to Pyongyang, to the North Korean government, and Trump is accusing China of allowing the oil transfers, but he hasn't really made sense, really. Trump, who said he was going to be hard on China, is caved into China, allowing them to have a $254 billion contract to mine shale oil in West Virginia, which in no way is something that we would ever give a country that doesn't give us something back. Not only did they not give us anything back in that lopsided deal Trump arranged, but we also have a situation where they're dropping huge fuel into, they're giving fuel sales to North Korea, going directly against sanctions placed against North Korea that allegedly they agreed to. So, U.S. President Donald Trump said he's very disappointed with China following a report that shipped in North Korea. In a tweet, Mr. Trump said China had been caught red-handed. He said there could never be a friendly solution to the North Korean crisis if oil was allowed to be exported to Pyongyang. See, again, the threats. You see how unyielding and threatening he is? It's not working. What's wrong with our military advisors that... I don't look tired. I look really invigorated. What's wrong with our military advisors that they give bad intel constantly? I don't get it. Bye. Yo, Dave, I made it. How you doing, man? Jackson finally got in after refreshing hundreds of times. You dorks really need to talk some real-life women in person. Dude, you're the dork. You probably haven't even introduced yourself to your mom. Why don't you get to know your mom first? There's no pain in the left eardrum. No. Like I said, I appreciate your concern, but no. I have water in my ear, dude. I talked about this in the show. Yeah. I work out every day, Rosie. I could even turn you from being a lesbian into a heterosexual, but I'm not interested in other women. So no need to see a doctor because I don't have any pain. If it was pain, I'd be agreeing with you, but there's no pain. It's strictly a little bit of water in my ear. Oh my gosh, somebody, Lazarus has arrived. Did you sleep for a little bit?
No.
Oh, you're just in there working.
I was zoning out on work.
Okay. I swim in a swim spa every day. And because I turn left and breathe through my right, my ear is always getting close to the water and it develops a little bit of moisture. But that's why I sometimes open my eardrum up. It's not an eardrum, it's just a little bit of... It gets clogged sometimes.
Well, yeah.
Thank you. And thanks for coming in and participating in our show.
I'm going to come in at 9 o'clock. I'm a little late.
That's okay. I got it. All right, thank you. Sarah's here.
David freezed through his ears. No, not quite. Oh, good. I'm glad you're eating, Rex. That's good. Depressive cancer, what? Yo, Jackson. Yo, what's up, bro? Tell us about the UFO that I saw with David. So one time I was walking in, it's not an infinity pool rain. It is is that candy rain? It's a swim spa, which is kind of like an infinity pool. It has like a pocket for swimming, deep pocket in the middle, and anyway. I know, Rex. I mean, I know, Mad Dog. I'm sorry. I seriously didn't send you anything. I didn't tell you I sent you anything either. I know you need something. I don't know what to send you. You recommend this movie? Okay, since I'm into teaching and education stuff.
Online and ready to access.
The computer wore tennis shoes. By accident, the content of a computer encyclopedia is transferred into the brain of Dexter Riley, a less than average college boy. Because of this newly acquired knowledge, he competes in a quiz show between various universities where he sweeps all the points. A whiz kid from another university finds out about his cheated wisdom and does everything to discredit Dexter. The computer wore tennis shoes. That looks like a good movie. I probably would like it. Mad Dog, let me think. I probably will like it. Oh, Sarah, UFO's story. Don't be distracted. Alright. I was walking in a park with David. It's called City Beach Park. And there's this way where you can walk next to the water and then you can turn back toward the land. And then anyway, so I was walking. I haven't worn David's steampunk mask. I was walking toward the along the water with David, and we looked out at the water, and there was this, like, in the distance there was like it did not look like it looked like a helicopter, but it didn't have any blades on top. I'm like, it looks like a black blimp. Like, it was bigger than a helicopter. Like, it looked like the body of a helicopter, kind of. I was like, what is that? And now David's like, I don't know, what is that? And it didn't move. That was the thing. It was like hovering like a helicopter, so it wasn't like flying by or moving in any direction. It was just like there. And it didn't move. And it was in the air. It was big and black. And everybody was kind of like, what is that? And then it was there for a good 5-10 minutes. I didn't have my phone at the time, so I didn't take a picture. I didn't. I should have 770, but I didn't have it on or with me at the time. And it was hovering over the water. Was it over water? There's this other like land that comes out of Oak Harbor. It's like on the other side of the land. And so it was over there. Maybe it was an orca weather balloon. But it was in Oak Harbor. And neither David or I knew what it was. And a few other people saw it too. And we're like, they didn't know what it was. And then I like got tired of looking at it after, you know, we walked for like 10 minutes. And then yeah, I'm sure it looks like an orca weather balloon. Yeah, I'm sure it was. I was like, maybe it has something to do with the Navy because the Navy base is over there. And then we walked inland a little bit and we turned back to walk back toward the water, and it wasn't there anymore. It was like there and then not there. Anyway, it's like maybe it flew off when we turned inland. No, I didn't get in my boat and chase it. I don't have a boat. Have I watched the movie The Navigator? No, I haven't. David said it was a UFO. Hi, Chris. My day went really well. Well, pretty well. Where was this? This was in Oak Harbor, and I was looking at it out at City Beach Park. And when was this? This was about 3 years ago, I want to say. I think it was probably in the summertime. How could you possibly take your eyes off a UFO? But I was looking at the UFO for like a full 10 minutes and I get bored. So I was walking along, looking at it, walking along, talking to David, looking at it, walking along, looking at it, talking to David, walking along. I was like, should we keep walking? Should we turn? Should we turn back? Should we look at it? What should we do when we turned? And we kept walking. Then we walked this way and it was that way. And I'm walking and I'm like, okay, let's turn back. Okay, where did it go? Whoa, what happened? That's kind of how it was. Sorry, 770, but I looked at it for a good 10 minutes. I just didn't have a video camera with me. No proof, didn't happen. My chat is restless. Yeah. I know. I thought it was a spaceship, but 10 minutes is too much. I know. It was weird. I think maybe it was only 5 minutes, but it was still like, it was there for a long time. That just sounds so weird, Scissor Fight. Mad Dog, you're not muted. I just didn't respond to you because I feel guilty because you're trying to guilt me into Christmas presents. I know. Martians, maybe 100 yards away. And it's like, well, are they attacking me? I guess they're okay. They're friendly. Maybe. Ooh, remember that guy that said he had a UFO and we had a conversation about that? And then anyway. There's a guy that says like he saw UFOs come out of the water and that we knew around here. Like maybe it's something like that. I don't know what it is. Should I get my camera? I don't think I have my camera in my car. I think I left my phone at home, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and I don't think I had a phone that took good pictures at the time. I know. I'm feeling guilty for not getting Mad Dog a present. Maybe I should send Mad Dog a picture. That would be good, right? Would you like a picture of me, Mad Dog? I should get, that's true. I know you would love that. Alright, let me think about it. Let me see if I can get your address and... Do I have your address? Yeah, I think I do have your address. I just have to look it up. Okay. Yeah, David mailed you the book. That's a good point. Yeah, you have the book. Awesome. That's right. I know, he could just screen capture me now, right? Yes, a signed book from us. There you go. So no, I shouldn't feel guilty. Do a Vogue? I don't know. How do you do a Vogue pose? I don't know how to model. I totally don't. Powerful. I don't know. There you go. Thanks, Jackson. It's all good. Yes, I did hear that. They wouldn't let you on a ship, Blue Medic 2? Why? Why would they not let you on a ship, even though you're at a Navy base? Oh, it's Santa in some kind of thing. Alright. Between now and my birthday. Hello, the Samix. Aviation Ordnance, man, nice. Oh, you were aviation electronics tech at Andrews Air Force Base in DC. Alright. Nice. I'm the fourth angel. You, Ro, and Mel are the other three. What does that mean, Allura? Is that some inside thing with you and Mad Dog? Ah, thanks, Jackson. That's a good picture of me. Here, I should say that. I'll put it in pictures. Fuji pictures, owner, users. I'm just gonna put it in here. Sarah, I wonder if it should go in here. Nah, no, I'm just gonna put it loose in pictures. Sarah, December 2017. Save. Alright, I'm saving that picture. Thank you very much, Jackson. You're giving me a haunted SoundCloud ghost to go with the UFO story.
When there is no more room in hell.
Oh, what is that? I'll have to listen to that later. Ghost, but David will probably listen to it.
dead will walk the earth.
Sorry. Whoa. That was too loud. Oh, okay, Mad Dog. I still have to get it together. That was really loud. Sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Soviet spy and everybody else. That was kind of crazy. Just a little crazy. Yes, they do have many, many planes like that. Electronic aircraft 6Bs and electronic aircraft F-18s and so many other electronic aircrafts, prowlers and growlers. Oh my. It's amazing. I walk around with a flashlight that you gave me. Check it out. Yeah, it's always in my pocket. Yeah, it's really good. And then I have my keys too. I walk around with those too. I went and got my oil changed today. Oh, that was good. The Navy uses the Prowler and the Growler to make the Soviet SA-22 confused. How does it do that? How does it confuse them? Well, now you know, it was like 3 or 4, 5 years ago, 770. I didn't walk around with my phone, and that at the time. And David, now when I walk around, David always says, turn off your phone. Don't keep your phone on if it's next to your body. Oh, I was just gonna say, are they trying to confuse the residents too, Blue Medic? I know, now I need to be prepared, it's true. And my change, and my hair tie. All the things I have in my pocket. And my lip gloss, of course. I'm not going to walk around with the UFO camera. I've only seen a UFO once. It's not like I'm probably ever going to see one ever again. I don't know. It must be, what's a UFO camera? It must be something with like infrared and different filters on it or something. You worked on the F-18, the C-130 and the F-18. Wait, the F-18 and the F-18 are the same, aren't they? Oh, it's 50 times zoom. I definitely don't have that. I think I have 5 times zoom. Oh, you loaded sonic buoys? A UFO camera is only used in emergency UFO situations, but I should have it on me at all times, huh? I have a little coloring for my lips, too. Well, it's not just about, when you buy a heater, you have to take into consideration the electricity that you'll be using. Yes, well, you guys asked me to tell the UFO story, so David has 2 UFO stories. I only have the 1 UFO story. I only saw a UFO once in my life. David saw him at least twice. Once with me and once as a little kid. Oh, interesting. Thank you, Scissor Fight. Bitcoin value takes a hit after South Korea bans certain exchanges. Very interesting. Hello, Rogue 500. Do I have any ghost stories? I do have some ghost stories. Do you want to hear some cool ghost stories? I do have a couple cool ghost stories. So first, I'm going to tell you an angel story. Well, maybe they're all angel stories. Maybe they're not ghost stories. But one was like, I have this sister, and I had to, it was, well, I came from a big family, and strange the way anyway, I had to walk through my sister's bedroom to get to my bedroom when I was younger, and I got home pretty late, and I was walking through her room. My sister, it was like her whole body was glowing, like from the inside. It was really eerie. And so then I went to like go get my mom and to tell her, you got to come check out my sister, she's glowing. And then when I went back, she wasn't glowing anymore. I don't think it was a moon, because my sister was sleeping at the time. It could have been the moon, I guess, but it was like her entire body was glowing, not just like part of her, and it didn't look like the moon was hitting her, and it wasn't like her sheets were on it. It was like, and she was totally asleep, and she didn't notice anything the next day. It was like, but she was like my skin color, but when that night she was just like super, it was like a light was emanating from her. It's really amazing. That was something I'll never forget. And then the other thing was that was enough ghost stories for today.
Quite a holiday.
An angel story.
Yeah. Wow, we've got a lot of good gifts. We made waffles today and used an electric whisk. That was kind of interesting.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Hey, well, impeach Trump. Has anyone you know never died? Or have you always, like, everyone you know is still alive? Did I have the waffle off? No. David decided to, you're welcome, Soviet Spy. David decided just to talk to the camera instead. That's cool, Wendy. You used to be an angel. Your aunt passed away, but yeah, if it's an aunt, you know, that's not super close. Because I have had supernatural things when someone close to me has passed away. Like I don't know if you would call them ghost stories, but they're like they're really just kind of eerie and interesting. You've had some bizarre dreams, yeah. So, a young person I know recently passed away, and you know how David was. Anyway, this young person had introduced me to Lincoln Park. And I was getting ready to go to her funeral, or her memorial service. They didn't have a funeral, I'm glad. It was a memorial service. And I went in and I was just like, I want to listen to Lincoln Park. And that day they had like this song, like it was meant, like it was written for her. That was eerie and amazing. You had a dream you were awake, and when you woke up you were asleep. Yeah. It was, oh, it was their latest song. I think it's called
Oh, good. All right, cool. Wowza, yowza, yowza.
One More Light, I think is the name of it.
Wow. Mad Dog had a dream about someone in a coffin and your brother died in a few days. That's heavy duty, man. Yeah.
We'd like to play something for you that we worked up today.
Cool. One more live.
One More Light. One More Light.
You want to play
really
that tonight?
Cool.
We'll play that tonight, maybe.
Anyway, that's the song I was like, whoa.
Let's play it.
We'll have to go off of that.
It's Lincoln Park, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chester Bennington. It was a tribute to him. Really sad. And no investigation into his death. Another example of FBI incompetence. I wish they were more competent. I really wish they'd do deeper investigations into what's happening. I'm frustrated as a viewer, as a citizen of the world that I live in, just like you. I wish that we'd get more accountability from these people.
You should play this song tonight. There you go.
Yeah, let's play that coming up at the end of our show. Thank you. Yeah, he might have known something about his dad, which they claim is, well, he looked just like John Podesta.
You dreamed that you fall in love with a special girl in your dream, and it's like you've known her all your life. Maybe that dream will come true someday.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
Special woman might appear.
Well, like that's how I had it, and I did have
a
dream about David.
I had a dream about you too.
Well, it was like a dream slash. It wasn't like a dream because I was awake, but like I had this, like somebody said, make a list of all the things you want in your future mate.
Yeah.
And
I had something, you had kind of envisioned a person like that?
Well, actually what was interesting is I envisioned someone walking on the beach with me and underneath a pier. And I was like, but I haven't ever seen a pier like that before. It was like this wooden pier.
Yeah.
I'm like, most of the piers I know, I grew up in California, are like these huge cement piers going into the ocean. And I'm like, I don't know about this wooden pier thing. But it was like walking along the water, and I was like, and this tall, handsome man was walking with me along the beach. And then what was really eerie, but I wrote that down, like someone that will listen to me and someone that will walk on the beach with me. I wrote down a list of things I wanted, and as I was writing those things down, I had this like vision of this pier, and I was just like, okay, but I've never like seen a pier like that really in real life. I don't even think I saw one like that in the movies or anything. And But then when I moved up here with David, David's like, let's go for a walk on the beach. And it was like he has this like local pier. And I was like, that's the pier I envisioned like way back when I wrote that down.
That's amazing. I was like, when Sarah told me the first time, I was like, wow, I really am fulfilling that dream. It's amazing. And I must tell you that the death of Chester Bennington is not forgotten. I mean, he had a beautiful family. He just recently purchased a home in Palos Verdes, California, and was preparing to move in with his family, and ended up dying that day that he had been on videotape having a good time. So it doesn't look normal. And people are saying, well, what about allegations that he might have been related to John Podesta? Well, Chester Bennington grew up with this man, not his biological father, who divorced his mother when Chester was 9 years old, when Chester found out that he had been molested right around the time, and he was molested around the 9 years old. So right around the time this guy divorced the mother, found out that Chester wasn't his son, because that he divorced his mother, basically. We now have the possibility that the real father could be John Podesta. And that brings in the Podesta case and Pizzagate, and the whole thing kind of spirals from there. But he looks a lot like John Podesta, very similar, and his features are nearly identical in some ways. And it very likely could be John Podesta. And Chester always said he was molested by his real dad. So, big allegations, whether they're true or not, you'd have to have a court of law to really determine that. Anyway, just thought I'd bring that up.
It's interesting how that song, this One More Light song, like kind of goes with that whole thing. Hello, Owl of Minerva. The words are like, who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of 1,000 stars, of 1,000,000 stars? And it's like, because so many people don't seem to care about researching bad things that happen.
Yeah. And many people don't even bother looking into the deaths of all these innocent children. And that's our problem. And I have a problem. 50,000 kids in America are missing every year. And we're not finding any information out with the existing two parties. They're not making any progress at all. So we're going nowhere, and the police are saying nothing. And the families are wondering what the hell's going on. And nobody's speaking out for these people. Here's a story about the mysterious Santa Rosa fires, and we'll be looking at that tonight. What did all these houses burn down? Many of the trees were left untouched, and this goes into detail. A lot of people are researching this and finding out that there could have been a directed energy weapon used to start the fires in California. And we'll add that to our link tonight, for sure. Scissor Fight's got a really good piece he's done here. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, but Chester Bennington is a good guy to kind of go out in the show with for the night, because he embodied a whole group of people that.
And Pete Trump thinks we should watch one of these things together.
That wasn't a question Al Minerva was saying. You know, we're both tired. It's been a long Christmas holiday. You know.
Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. He thinks we should watch.
Well, let's add it to the list.
Well, I'm not going to be in here to watch something.
Oh, is it on? It's not on YouTube?
It is on YouTube.
We'll just add it to the list, so we have it in the number 12 list.
Okay, but I'm probably not going to watch it if it's in there.
So it doesn't matter. You can also put it in Cool Tech. Yeah, I remember that show. It's a really fun one. Wasn't Kurt Russell in that one? Or am I thinking of the 1970s version? Hang on just a second.
No, I would never teach my students that. I would teach my students that some people think that we didn't land on the moon, but I believe that we did land on the moon. And if you don't think that we did land on the moon, you can do your own research, but I personally do believe that, and I have pictures that make me believe that. There are pictures of landing sites.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not disputing that you haven't seen the landing sites. And I'm not going to use the Photoshop excuse, saying it was Photoshopped. Because they didn't have Photoshop back in the 60s, so I can't do that.
It's with Kurt Cameron.
Kurt Cameron, okay. Yeah, I haven't worn that other wig in a long time, have I?
Should I go off of...
Yes, YouTube, YouNow is done. Oh, we're leaving at 10 o'clock on YouNow.
Okay, well, I was going to watch a show and I want to leave, and then waiting.
Oh, see, she wants to leave. She wants to shut the show down early because she doesn't want to be here. Well,
I think
that's kind of a
good
problem
for everyone to ask questions. That's what I would say.
I think I should wear a wig for New Year's, yeah. Yeah, I could try this one right up here. This is a good one.
No, Sarah will not remarry or be with anyone else if something happens to David. No, this is David's real hair right here.
Yeah, this is it. But there's a wig down here I wanted to try. I wanted to see if I can get this to look any better. I like the newer one I'm going to be using for New Year's Day, but this is the one I was curious about. Yeah, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the light on here. Oh no, that looks horrible. That looks absolutely horrible. Yeah, this is the worst wig I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait a second.
Now you're looking like Trump or Justin Bieber. Maybe that's definitely the back. That is so the back.
I think it needs to be styled or something. But
here, let me see it.
This is just not happening.
Let me look at this for a second.
Whoa! Holy crap! Oh my goodness! Did you see that?
This is the back, David. This
okay,
is the
let's
back,
try
see?
this. Okay, thank you. I feel like I'm in the Three Stooges here. Okay, we're getting closer to where we're at here.
Way not good, but...
No, wait a second. I'm almost there. Hang on. All right.
I guess that's better. That part looks really dorky.
You know, do you think I should sell this wig and just get rid of it?
Yeah,
does anybody want this wig?
That looks really dorky.
I know. How did this part get so screwed up? It's a dorky part. It's the stupidest thing ever.
That looks so dorky.
Sorry. What if it goes back?
Okay, that looks better. Yeah, that looks good.
All right. Thank you. I look like a surfer, dude. All right. Hey, dude, what's going on?
That's better.
Yeah, totally, Sarah. I totally agree. You know, we ought to hang out. Do you hang out at Malibu a lot? Where are my sunglasses for my Malibu experience? They're there.
I don't know. These look like these kind of...
Yeah, here they are.
These look like the glasses for that wig.
No, I disagree. Well, let's let you decide. These glasses, or these glasses. Hey, dude.
No, it's not a surfer wig.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh, what is it then?
It's a dorky business person wig.
Well, actually, Sarah, you're right.
It's like an accountant.
Okay.
You look like an accountant.
Well, I suppose I do. I've been working very hard at accounting. My whole life is about accounting, Sarah. How long have you been coming to Starbucks? I want to do a little role playing so people will know how to meet people. Because a lot of people, they say, a top Facebook executive has said that social networks that we use today are destroying society. It's true.
Yes, I know. That's
we were talking about this today with somebody we met.
We actually had a conversation with someone.
I know. Can you believe that?
While I was getting my oil changed.
We met a nice young man, about 48 years old, who actually he actually had a pretty interesting perspective on. He was talking about how he uses different things like tablets and laptops, and he goes from one to the other, getting bored with each one.
Well,
I do look smart.
You should have told him what. about your chat room, and then
I didn't want to talk about my personal life or how important
you
I am.
wouldn't get bored anymore.
You see, Sarah, when I walk around talking about how important I am, people think I have an ego problem.
That's true.
And it's very disturbing. You know, no one wants to be told it. Oh yeah, you're Mr. Important. Who cares, dude?
Yeah, I just don't know how to teach that though, Owl. Owl thinks I'm a good person and I have, you know, a good even-tempered. And he's like, you should teach women how to be even-tempered. I'm like, I don't know how to teach people to be like me.
The thing is, Sarah, I was telling her this the other day, you're very rare, because most women are not like you. And when I met you, I was like, wow, you're the most easygoing person I've ever met, and you're probably the only one who could even deal with me. In terms of my personality.
What did my mother do? My mother taught me to be thankful for what I have. My mom taught me...
A hairnet.
She set a good example of, like, not being... Oh, yeah, that's trash. Here you go. Take that. I'm going to take this piece of trash, too.
Let's stitch it together and patch.
My mom was a very frugal person, kind of like you.
Yeah.
Should I throw that piece of paper away?
Yeah, I don't.
It's kind of
I'm still looking for Deborah Taburis, the writer of StopTheCrime.net. She's still missing since 2015. She's been missing for 2 years now. I haven't heard about her. Did you grow up in a religious home at all? Owl of Minerva would like to know. Yes. I grew up in a religious home.
My mom was very religious.
And I, too, was raised very religious.
And she would spank me if I was a bad girl.
Wow, really?
And I felt very guilty the only time I lied in my life. I only lied once, but I felt so guilty I never did it again.
That's good. It's one of the best qualities to learn to be honest.
But I haven't been to a church since I was young. I mean, I was taught, you know, you should sit with your hands folded.
Yes.
And listen to your elders talk.
When I go to Bible studies, I always remain quiet until spoken to.
I can't believe you ever staying quiet until you're spoken to, like, ever in your entire life. I just don't see that ever happening. No.
No.
Did you did go to that school? Did you get hit with a ruler on your fingers?
I did. Yeah, it was a catechism, it was called. It was 6 weeks of nonstop indoctrination into the Catholic Church. But I managed to get through the ruler slapping stage when the nuns hit your... Hey, cool, dude. Thanks. I managed to get through the tough stages of that, but I realized by the time I got through it and I took my communion, which was the daily Eucharist, I realized that I had enough, I'd had the body of Christ. And I said, well, I am thoroughly satiated, and I never had to go back to church. That was it. I had that one and only, actually I had a couple meals.
2 communions?
Well, I kind of broke down and had 3 Eucharists and slowly digested them.
I wouldn't call them meals, but... Okay.
Well, they were a meal, in spiritual meal is what it's a reference to. Well, I look younger because I just basically went back in time.
Because he put on his wig.
Yes. And wearing this wig and getting the right look.
Wigs do make you look younger because they bring make your forehead smaller. My forehead's getting bigger. I'm getting older.
Oh, well, it's normal to get older. You can afford to have a larger forehead. You weren't blessed with a Frankenstein forehead like I have. You've been drinking the blood of Christ? No, I didn't. I had the body. Thank you. I didn't get into the wine part. Most of the ills in your society, to the bad breathing given by your mothers. Well, thank you for sharing.
Well, I also had a good father.
Yes. I remember your father.
Sometimes my mom was good, and sometimes she just got too far into video games.
Your mother got heavily into Centipede, was it? Or
Tetris.
Tetris. She was a Tetris.
You're like, Mom, I need you to sign this paper. Okay, you're playing Tetris, But Mom, I really need you to sign this paper. All right, good night, Mom. See you tomorrow when you're done playing Tetris.
Yeah, she was playing Tetris.
Centipede.
So she didn't even hear you. She just was playing.
And then I said the next morning, Mom, there's a paper. I need to sign it. I'm going to be late for school. I got to have this paper signed.
Yeah, I hear you. But, you know, it's Centipede, not Human Centipede. Nobody plays Human Centipede. You know, that's just a movie that was made.
I like simple, mindless puzzles like Tetris now. I'm like my mom that way.
PK Talks, he's back.
My
Okay.
mom likes Mahjong too.
Your mom is a big RuneScape.
Good day, everyone.
Okay. We're going to have TK talking a little bit later. Good day.
Yes, my mom does like RuneScape, that's true.
Yeah, she's one of the top RuneScape players, I heard.
One of the oldest RuneScape players, besides the creators.
She's one of the top earliest RuneScape people. Thank you. We'll play a little PK, talk about what's behind his daily life and how he's responded to having his YouTube site knocked down, as with others have had complete censorship against their YouTube site. It sucks. So the technology is squashing the modern political discourse going on. Even today, we struggle just to maintain a show, and hope that with net neutrality ending, it doesn't get rid of our show. So we're going to always have a social network to go to on the internet, and it's always going to be up and ready for you, no matter what your internet level is. I have a feeling they're going to create an intranet in America, and just like China has one right now, they're going to try to limit your access to the web, and thereby curtailing the growth of politics around the world. It's kind of sad, really is, because we're a globally connected world. We don't need to break down the governments we have that protect us. We don't need a new world order or a global world government. We need a solution that makes sense for each individual region. That's the thing that will survive, not some BS global world government. So America would like to detach, at least I think Americans should detach from this notion that we should just give up our rights and cave into the UN. Thank you. We're done with you, sire. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay, you saw a program in China. They're employing surveillance everywhere in that country. Everywhere. I heard it. Yeah, you heard it right. Plus, there's all kinds of human rights abuses still with human trafficking, and even in our country, it's not being exposed by any political group. So the environmental cleanup, the creation of jobs tied to cleaning up the environment, which is what we're all about, and also solving the problem of basic income, which no other party addresses. We offer $400 a month to U.S. citizens, which is a pretty good starter, but that number is going to go up once we gauge where we're at.
We're going to start with the baseline of $400.
$400 a month would be the number we start at.
To U.S. adult citizens.
Yeah, anybody 18 or over would qualify, and there would be no 6-month follow-up and no need for social workers to monitor this, other than a computer system.
I just look at David and I smile.
Thank you. Cool. You're wonderful too. Thank you.
You.
Hey, great.
It's so nice talking to you all, and come back tomorrow. Thanks for watching our show.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to play you now Chester Bennington and the song that Sarah really likes.
Well, after we go off of YouTube.
Yes, we're going to put this behind us, and then we're going to go off of YouTube by fading into the background. Well, it kind of matches us. Whoa, woo. Okay, everybody. Good night. Take care.
Night.